surprising touchdown because it came on 3rd and 8. Beautiful kickoff by Daluiso, and it will be Washington State football at their own 20-yard line. And Brian Brown has had a tough time running this year, but tonight got the hole and really bulled his way in.
Yeah, this kind of a la Roger Craig here. Watch the knee and leg driver. He wants this touchdown. Washington State playing a little nickel defense, zones on both sides, allowed UCLA to actually run the I formation, the dive play, which is really their bread and butter running play.
6-play drive, only 20 yards, but set up by the great punt return by Scott Miller, who just came off from that collarbone fracture he had in preseason.
Yeah, boy, did he come off it, huh?
Gossin, the quarterback. He wants to throw, and he's looking deep, but his man had stepped along the sideline out of bounds. Even if he caught the football, it would have been incomplete. Dion Lambert with the great coverage.
There's a marker on the field, Steve. Brad saw a blitz from Pfeiffer, Roman Pfeiffer, coming squeaky clean from the weak side. Went ahead and just threw the fade. That must have been his hot receiver on that if he got the blitz from that weak side.
Illegal motion on the offense. Decline. 2nd down.
UCLA, they have scored in every game since the early 70s. Donahue has been one of the great college coaching success stories. Got his first job as an assistant at the age of 23 with Pepper Rogers at Kansas University. Washington State needs 10. Incomplete. And this is not Brad Gossin style football. He is a guy who's very sure, doesn't make many mistakes.
Well, they want to keep momentum on the offensive side of the field, and that's Brad Gossin. We talked about it earlier that, hey, Washington State is offense. Again, we get the blitz from 40. Roman Pfeiffer's coming in there. He realizes he's got some pressure. He got what he wants, man to man. Just rushed it a little bit there. Gossin looking at his little crib sheet there on his wrist. A lot of quarterbacks have that.
UCLA leading 7-0. Makes the dump off, and then he is sacked. He escapes at the 5-yard line. What a great job of running by Brad Gossin. He gets back to the 15-yard line, but it will still be 4th down. Meach Shaw finally makes the tackle, but he should have been wrapped up by Matt Werner.
Yeah, Matt had himself a stat. Getting his first start tonight, and Brad did a really good job. There's no one there on that slow screen to the right side, and he saw a lot of traffic over there.
College football's best punter, Jason Hansen, standing at the goal line. Miller, last time he returned it, 47 yards, and he'll have a chance here from the 31. Not much there. This time he goes down at the 37-yard line. UCLA has a 7-0 lead. 9:47 remaining, first period. Second year at Washington State. He went 6-5 last year. Was the Sporting News Coach of the Year in the Pac-10 Conference. And he is a delightful guy, and he has really brought a lot of smiles around the Palouse country in the Pacific Northwest. It's 1st and 10 for UCLA. They have a 7-0 lead. Brian Brown tries the middle, and he is fighting for that extra yard. Ron Ricard brings him down. Brown, a senior from that great Los Angeles high school, Carson High. They have turned out so many collegiate players. Gain of 7, 2nd down 3. Brown again. Shy of the 1st down as Kurt Newton came up from the inside with the tackle.
There's no question right now they are definitely trying to establish this running game. We talked about Brown, Kevin Williams, and Sean Wills, and right now Brian Brown is doing his share of the load.
Their first 3 high backs combined for just 82 yards in the first 3 games.
Terry will let you know that too, Coach Donahue.
Brown's almost matched the season high already. UCLA.
Bruins showing you a lot of different formations offensively, but really the same play. Just a strong side slant or a strong side counter by the tailback, Brown.
He had 463 yards last year.
You got 3 yards here. Hey, might as well go airborne. He's getting at least 3 or 4 just on momentum alone through the air.
Part of the problem last week was a powerful Michigan State offensive and defensive line, and they just took apart UCLA in that front five. Maddox completes the pass to Scott Miller. That's his first of the year.
There's no question we're going to mention number 8's name quite a bit tonight. We've heard a lot about Tommy Maddox after that brilliant victory over the Stanford Cardinal, and he threw for a heck of a lot of yards. Matter of fact, second in Bruin history, we mentioned that earlier, against Michigan.
First and 10 from the 43-yard line. The option, and Maddox decides to keep it himself. Hey, let's check in with Tim Brando.
Steve, Miami had only a 10-point lead at the end of 3 quarters, but they get 17 fourth-quarter points. Here's Stephen McGuire with one of those touchdowns. They led by 20 with over a minute to play. They get a touchdown and win it by 27. Oh, those Canes. You gotta love them. By the way, their coach formerly was at Washington State, I believe.
Good friend Mike Price is now under the controls. This is Smith trying the left side. The big 245-pound fullback pulls his way inside that 35-yard line. Third down, they'll need about 5. Plummer and Newton combine to make the hit.
Tell you, for a fullback, Steve, this guy's very, very impressive. He's not really in your fullback mold. He stands 6'4", 246 pounds. I thought he was an outside linebacker or a tight end when I was talking to him. He said, no, I play fullback, Neil, and I love it. So I said, that's fine. Looking good.
Well, they need 5 for the first down. Maddox to the right. Miller can't hold on, and it's 4th down. A decision time for Coach Donahue.
They got what they wanted. They had an 8-man front, had the blitz. That means man-to-man coverage on the outside. Scotty Miller just on a quick 5-yard hook for the first down. Tommy, a little impatient there, just rushed it a little bit, and that usually makes a high throw when the quarterback doesn't set his feet.
And Maddox completed 9 straight passes against Stanford, and then his first 3 against Michigan, 12 in a row. They'll go for a 51-yard field goal. Tommy Maddox is the holder. So it's on the way. It has the distance, but it's no good. UCLA holds on to a 7-0 lead here in Pullman, Washington. It's homecoming in the Palouse. Continues tomorrow on ESPN as the Toronto Blue Jays take on the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox beat the Jays today, so their lead is 2. Here in Pullman, Washington, it's 7-0 UCLA, and it's Washington State football, and they have had a rough time offensively. The Bruins determined to get things together, and part of their problem is covering a spread offense. They push that to defense and stretch them all over the field. Gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down 9. Wide receiver Ron Young goes to the right. Philip Bobo and Calvin Griggs to the left. The lone setbacks is Seanby Wright Fair. Over the middle. Bobo with the catch, and as he's smacked by Turner.
Play earlier, Seanby Wright Fair just taking a quick slant to the left side. But watch his helmet go. Watch the helmets down there. Seanby's, you get the centers down there. We got face masks flying. John Madden would love this kind of stuff right now. Here's the play right now. Hello, Mr. Turner. He puts the smack on Philip Bobo. He's going to remember that.
Well, we talked to defensive coordinator Bob Field today, and he loves Eric Turner. They've had some great safeties at UCLA. Kenny Easley among the best, and that's the kind of player he patterns his style out there. On third down, Shelby Wright Fair unable to get the first down. And that means it's time for Jason Hansen again.
And I don't understand that audible at all, Steve. I tell you, it's you got 3rd and 4 as we see Stacy Argo made the hit that time, and they're in really a 46 defense, the old Chicago Bear style defense. And I think Gosson actually checked off to that running play. You just don't run against an 8-man front.
Hansen's best this year is 75 yards. Did that against Wyoming.
Is this guy a weapon or what? Oh, this guy.
Says he's pleased with his punt this year, but not so his field goals. He's made 7-11 of those.
They came after him that time.
Miller will let it go. Good bounce inside the 15. Look at this.
Great for the average right here. He's loving that.
Now it's time for that Cougar defense. 54 yards of the punt by Hansen. He set the Washington State record a couple of weeks ago when he averaged 50 per game.
Well, I love Hansen what he said. He said, hey, I got the perfect leg. If I get the perfect snap and the perfect hold, I can hit one from 68. I said, 68? Holy cow. Oh, we're not.
Well, the NASCAR racing is coming your way tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Great matchup between Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin. From the 5-yard line. This is Smith. Big hole right side. And Smith is out to the 20-yard line.
The fumble roll. I don't know if he was down or not. Oh, they're calling him down, Steve.
Ooh. And this homecoming crowd that has had all day to party, they came fired up. Mike Price, he's a fiery gentleman.
Oh, he is. And what a sense of humor that guy has. He's not showing it right now, but he thinks that's for sure a fumble. And half the crowd is looking around for the instant replay. Here is our instant replay. They have it in the pros, but not in college. You make the call yourself. Is he down? Oh, no. Good hit. Good hit. I think that's a fumble all the way. Fumble all the way.
NFL, it's Washington State football.
Yeah.
Michael Moore to the left.
Staying with 2 tight ends in there.
And they're staying with Brian Brown, and he's had a good game. And there's a flag, and it was after the tackle. Vince Olivar, Chris Moton making the tackle. Brown already almost past his season high.
Yeah, it carries and yardage.
UCLA has scored first on a Brian Brown 8-yard run. They were set up on an excellent punt return by wide receiver, punt return artist Scott Miller.
Holding on the offense. Repeat first down.
Miller comes in now. Michael Moore will leave, and Miller is that possession-type receiver who really reads Tommy Maddox very well and what he needs.
Well, they're certainly on the same page. He was their #1 wide receiver last year, but hey, those possession guys, don't count on them not going deep all the time because they'll go right by it.
First down, 20. Bootleg, and it's knocked down beautifully. Big Lee Tillman, 6'6", 250 pounds.
Yeah, he's 6'6", but I think it hit him in the armpit or the elbow. I tell you, this whole front line for the Washington State Cougar, these guys would make the basketball coach salivate. I mean, you're talking about 6'6" Tillman, 6'7" Westerfield, 6'5" Tino Romero. There's some big boys.
There's Big Lee Tillman, former tight end. And he said, hey, you can play defensive end, and he showed just why there. UCLA tries to run. Washington State says, and it's 3rd down and long. Jason Woodley brought him down.
Well, people might think it's a very conservative call. You got 2nd down and 19, 20 yards, Steve. But hey, you're deep down in your own territory. You don't want any mistakes.
Homecoming, and the crowd alive as Jason Woodley shakes his fist. 3:23 to play first quarter. UCLA by 7. Maddox in shotgun, and the shotgun really hurt Stanford a couple of weeks ago when he brought them back from a 21-7 deficit. Completes the pass 15-yard line, but well shy of first down. And it's punting time for UCLA. Their strength is in the secondary. They lost 4 guys to professional football, down linemen, 3 to the NFL, 1 to the CFL, and that defensive line is doing a good job against a quality offensive line like the Bruins.
And they got to be, because that's where they got to stop. What Terry Donahue says, they must open something up, and that's the running game. It's a lot of pressure on the linebackers and the defensive line.
Courtney Kyler from his 2. Flag is down. This is a line drive punt. Bobo will have a chance to bring it back. He's down to the 41-yard line. But again, a flag down at the line of scrimmage. John Winnick on the tackle of Philip Bobo. It's a legal procedure against the Bruins. Not agreeing at all with the official.
I don't know. I can't read lips from up here, but I think everybody at home probably knows what he said there. But I got young kids, so I'm not going to repeat what he said. I think Washington State's probably going to take the penalty and make a punt again.
7 straight years he won bowl games. That's a record.
Illegal formation on the offense. Repeat 4th down.
State says we want to kick it over. And Mike Price saying our special teams are better than their special teams. And Philip Bobo is one reason why he wants to give him a second chance.
Well, they got a lot of starters, both offensively and defensively, Steve, playing the special teams. You got a 60-man squad. That's pretty rare, but they do got a very good special team group.
So Kyler 3 yards into his own end zone. 2:20 to play here in the first quarter. Bruins leading by 7. Terrible kick. Out of bounds. Where will they mark it? At the 25-yard line. What a difference a penalty makes. Let's go to Tim Brando.
All right, Steve, a couple of breaking stories at halftime. Rice, Donald Hollis, pretty good quarterback. He has a touchdown pass to Eric Henley in that ball game. So Rice right now leading Houston, the 13th ranked Cougars, 13-7. And Long Beach State, George Allen's team, comes from behind for the 2nd consecutive week. Kevin Studer to Sean Foster with a 10-yard strike with just 1:52 to play. The 49ers making noise in college as well.
Bruins leading by 7. First down. They mark it at the 35-yard line. The officials conferred, and this is Shambi right fair. And he runs out of bounds and runs into the sideline truck, but he gets right back up. He is one tough guy, and Coach Mike Price says this guy is so good he has 2 last names.
I love that. You got your OT going on here. Both off guard and tackle coming. Shambi does the rest. Had a big rushing game against BYU. His career best, 125 yards in rushing. So Washington State doesn't throw the ball, but hey, Shambi is going to be carrying that. They don't throw it.
Gain of 7. He had 134 last week against the Golden Bears. They need 3. Right fair again, and he may have those 3 and the first down. Arnold Allay brought him down, but not until he got to the 24-yard line. We have not seen it yet, but Coach Price calls it grass basketball. What does he mean by grass basketball?
Grass basketball, you're talking about fast break football. I mean, Washington State will use a lot of 3 wide receivers to spread you out. That's why they run the ball so well. But boy, in this area here, they love to throw the football. They get past the 20, they want to score a touchdown. They can't settle for a field goal.
This is Rich Whitten trying the right side inside the 24 to the 23. Gain of maybe 2. Allay again making the tackle, and he is a dandy, number 89. And Terry Donahue furious because he had the punt. They were backed up at the 41-yard line, Washington State, and after the terrible kick by Courtney Kyler goes out of bounds at the 35. Well, it's a difference.
You're talking, 26-yard difference. And boy, Courtney Kyler, you don't want to use that word in golf, but he shanked that ball big time.
3 receivers left side.
They got a coverage problem here. No one's covering Griggs.
All right, here's grass basketball over the middle. The big tight end, Clarence Williams, first down.
Bob Field's going to be very upset. He's a UCLA defensive coordinator. They obviously messed up the secondary coverage. Darby's got to come up from his strong safety position to make the tackle. Williams, a very impressive tight end for the Cougs.
Dad played with the Los Angeles Rams, late Clancy Williams. Great star here at Washington State as well. Gosson, Schombe right fair, inside the 6-yard line.
And this is again where they excel. They love being in the red area. Talking to offensive coordinator Joe Tiller, he loves this area because they can use all kinds of formations. Really puts the pressure on the defense.
Schombe right fair. Say, why does he keep the 2 names?
Like Price said, he's so good, he's got to have 2 names, huh?
Well, it is an interesting story. Schombe means strength of a lion.
There's Joe Tiller right there on the sidelines. He loves this area. He might look nervous, but he said, I love the red area.
Schombe right fair again. Barely bakes you back to the line of scrimmage where Ross and Keaton brought him down with Matt Darby. And Keaton is 6'3" and 250 pounds, and he's the guy they needed at that run position to defend Schombe right fair.
Well, yeah, he just got back from that knee injury. He had a cartilage taken out 5 weeks ago.
It's 7-0 UCLA, and we head to the second 15 minutes. It's the UCLA Bruins and the Washington State Cougars homecoming. And UCLA looking for their first road win this year. They got a home win against Stanford. They have a 7-0 lead, but Washington State is knocking on the touchdown door. They have the football to the 5-yard line. 3rd down 4. They can get a first down, but they must get to the 1-yard line. And we're talking about a stadium that is 15,000 fans bigger than the entire city of Pullman. Gosson will throw. Loops it into the corner. Incomplete. They intended for C.J. Davis.
And they got what they wanted defensively, Steve. UCLA bringing 2 linebackers up the middle, leaving man-to-man coverage. Darby, a strong safety, playing on C.J. Davis, one of the quickest players on the Washington State team. He got him to the corner. Brad underthrows the ball. Boy, he wished he had that ball back. No question about it. They threw the same play last week against Cal and hit it for a touchdown. Gosson called his best throw ever. This wasn't one of his best throws.
Well, here's Jason Hansen from 22 yards out.
This should be a gimme for him.
Geez, 43 Washington State record in his career. It is on the way, and it is good, but as good as Jason Hansen has been throughout his career, the last time he won a game with a field goal was in high school. He hopes to change that tonight. Mike Price's coach said when he tried out as the kicker, all the competitors were down on the field, and they started warming up, and on comes Jason Hansen, and from 35 yards out, he started drilling field goals with his left foot, and all of the competition said, we better go sit down and think this one over.
Boy, he is something else, I'll tell you that. Yesterday, just in warm-ups, the guy was hitting 55, 65 yarders. This is the day before the game.
Well, tomorrow afternoon, Chris and the guys get together, noon Eastern time, NFL Game Time. And then a look at all of the action at NFL Prime Time at 7 o'clock. Check of all the NFL games and find out how those Super Bowl champions, San Francisco 49ers, who will have the week off, 3-0, can they make it a three-peat?
Yeah, all the NFC West teams this year, Steve, each conference, each division and each conference gets a week off. That's 17-week schedule in the NFL this year. I don't know if some guys like it, some guys don't. I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I would have liked it or not. If you're on a roll, you shouldn't like to play more.
Jason Hansen, 22-yard field goal. 30-yard drive. It came after the terrible punt by Courtney Kyler. And that has been a troubled area because they lost 2 good kickers from a year ago. And Donahue has taken special interest with the special teams this year as Hansen booms it out. Now, this young man played great soccer high school kicker in his high school days. But football's his future. Now let's check in with Tim Brando.
Steve, some great individual performances. Louisiana Tech's freshman Jason Davis, 302 yards rushing on 47 carries, evoking memories of Roland Harper and Charles Quick Six McDaniel in Ruston. And out west, San Diego State's Dan McGuire, 15 of 24, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns in the third quarter 45-9 over the Air Force. Back to Steve.
Opening moment, second quarter, UCLA leading by 4. Maddox brings them out. They'll go with the I formation. Donahue determined to get that running game going, and it's been solid thus far. Gain of 5 by Brian Brown. Moton brings down Brown the 25-yard line.
Well, that was a big defensive stop that the Bruins held the Cougars just to 3 points, and that's what Terry Donahue talked about last night. We just want to be in the football game until the third or fourth quarter. We've been behind so often. We don't know what it's like to play 4 quarters in a tight football game. So far, they're getting that tonight.
UCLA has rushed for 50 yards in the game. They're averaging just 72. But they've always been behind, which means they have to pass. Smith wrapped up at the 25. Kirk Westerfield at 6'7".
Dan Weber, I was watching him all along today. They said he wouldn't even play today. Yeah, he did a good job, and although Vince Saldivar did also a great job getting in there. These guys are banged, like you talked about, they're all banged up. They got bad knees, bad shoulders. But this is homecoming. They want to play football.
It's third down. 5 yards to go for UCLA. They spread them out. No tight end. Slot left side. Sean LaChapelle. Maddox is very nifty scrambler. Incomplete, almost intercepted near the 37-yard line by Alvin Dunn. Their strength is their secondary.
It certainly is, and they don't get a lot of credit for that BYU loss when they came back from 29-7. But Dunn playing here with a broken finger. He's got a pin in his middle finger and another pin in his ring finger. Does a good job of staying on all the receivers. Just playing a lot of man under with 2 free on top. So, hey, it's tough to throw that ball in there. You got that type of coverage.
Courtney Kyler going for the reprieve here. Short last time. Philip Bobo, time to run. And there's UCLA, and Bobo cannot escape. At the 37-yard line, it'll be Washington State football. They're down by 4, 7-3. Hansen trying to bring him back. He hit from 22 his last time. ESPN's presentation of college football is being brought to you by Nordstrom, maker of fine men's clothing. And by Sony, bringing people the most entertaining ways to entertain themselves. It's a 7-3 ball game. UCLA has the lead. 13:21 to play in the first half. And Washington State will show that spread again. Sends 3 receivers to the top of your screen. Gosson has not gotten it in gear yet.
Ooh, they got a false start there, Steve. We're on the right page.
It looked like Bob Garman, who was questionable earlier this week. As a matter of fact, Coach Price, he learned that he may have broken his arm in practice, and he was really worried.
False start on the offense. Repeat first down.
Yeah, he came in and said, oh, no, I think he broke his elbow, actually. And he was telling me he's the best offensive lineman they got. They miss a guy like him. That's like missing your quarterback, and they couldn't afford to miss a guy like number 74, Garman. So,
talking about Garman, he said, Garman can bench press 530 pounds. He's a monster in the weight room. Price loves him. He says the best we've had in a while.
And he can pass protect. That's why they love him.
Shambi right fair. They look underneath. Gosson goes down the left side. Broken up beautifully, but a flag is there as well. And it was Carlton Gray over the top of the wide receiver, Ron Young.
Well, we've seen this a couple times now, Steve, where Brad Gosson put Shambi right fair in motion, putting the Bruins in a man-to-man coverage with 1 free on top. That time, Carlton a little aggressive playing corner there.
Pass interference on the defense. Automatic first down.
You know, this is a tough call. That ball, it didn't exactly have a lot of zip on it as he put that ball down the seam. But, you know, Brad sees the coverage, sees it's man-to-man, got 1 free, comes all the way back to the left side of the field, his left. That ball takes a lot of time to get there. I think if it was better thrown, Carlton Gray might have had a play on it.
Neil, how much has the quarterback responsibilities changed in the last 10 to 15, 20 years?
Oh, tons and tons more pressure, I think, on the quarterback, especially in college ball.
So many different defenses to read. This is Shambi right fair. Sweep left side. He's to the 50. He's inside the 45-yard line and near another Cougar first down. Gracious guy, and he's done some crazy things.
Oh.
He showed up at the USC game last year on a horse.
He was dressed as Tommy Trojan, that one like you're talking about. And against the Ducks a year ago, he dressed like a duck hunter. They had some ducks fly over. He acts like he was shooting them down. Guy is something else. He's certainly treated us well. The whole Washington State staff has really treated the whole staff here from ESPN with first class service.
He has a sign in his office that said, "Enthusiasm is caught, not taught." They go downfield, and it's a complete pass. Was he down? They say he was down, and he caught that football. Eric Turner with the big hit.
Augustin Olobia, from Nigeria, the guy right down the seam. That time when Shambe went in motion, the Bruins the last 3 times have played man. This time they play zone. Brad comes back after looking off the safety, Eric Turner, but not quite enough. Puts the hit on Olobia, but I think they're rolling. He kept the ball, didn't he, Steve?
That's what they're saying. And he picked up that football. He's still down on the field, and he is from the Nigerian 1988 Olympic team, a super sprinter. Runs 100 meters in 10:1, and the Washington State track coach wants him as well, as you might understand. And he says, you should see this guy go deep on fly patterns in practice. There is no cornerback who can cover him man to man.
Here comes Mike coming out to check him. Both Olopia and his buddy Gabriel Oladipo. They both went to Texas Southern, as you mentioned, on track scholarships, and both can fly. Oladipo, though, he plays defensive tackle, actually.
Well, we'll check on Augustin Olobia. Here in Pullman, Washington, 7-3 UCLA.
All right, we'll get back to Steve and Neil in just a moment. Rice has scored again. We told you Donald Hollis was pretty good. He's had a touchdown pass, now a 3-yard touchdown run. The extra point failed. They tried for 2, didn't get it. By the way, Houston's David Klinger leads the nation in total offense coming in, but the big news is Rice is all over Houston in the 3rd, and that is a big story in the Southwest Conference.
Tim, thank you very much. And there's Augustin Olobia. He is fine and dandy. Needed a little bit of smelling salts because he got his bell rung by free safety Eric Turner.
And he will do that. They call him E-Rock. And you talked about some of those safeties UCLA's had. Kenny Easley, the late Don Rogers, James Washington, a great player the last couple of years. Got Houston only scoring 7 points in 3 quarters. What happened to that run and shoot there, Steve?
Gossett with pressure. Deep in the end zone was C.J. Davis, but Gossett overthrows. And that is one thing, as you take a look at Arnold Allais, a great blitzing linebacker, that Gossett's not afraid to do. He refuses to make a mistake. He has not thrown an interception in almost 90 passes.
Yeah, he loves to sit back there and watch it. Again, this is their favorite pattern. They have a little dig route by the wide receiver. Griggs was coming in. C.J. Davis broke for the corner. This is what quarterbacks have to go through. I tell you what, you might not feel too good on Sunday morning after these kind of games, too. Arnold Allais put the lace up on him, huh?
Started as a freshman for Notre Dame, wanted to come home back to L.A. and the Bruins. This is that wide receiver, Desmond Clayton, and he is run out of bounds near the 12-yard line. Matt Darby, the strong safety, running him out of bounds. Brad Gossen, all of a sudden getting a rhythm going. He had trouble getting it out of first gear to start this ball game.
Well, it's interesting to see a strong safety over there on a wide receiver. It's amazing. That's why you see the cushion. I mean, you got Darby back there, runs probably a 4.6, 4.75, and Griggs, C.J. Davis, Ronnie Young, Desmond Clayton, all those guys, and you see Clayton right here, they run about 4.3, 4.4, and you got Darby trying to cover one of them. A little mismatch.
Gosson spread it out, completed 5 passes, all 5 to different receivers. Shelby right there, trying the middle, busts through, he's at the 5, he drags him in! Touchdown!
Oh, they're going to give it to him. They're going to give it to him.
Shelby Wright Fair was an offensive lineman in high high school, had to talk his high school coach into saying, hey, I can run with the football. And he has been dragging tacklers with him ever since.
Well, he's got 2 rushing TDs so far this year. Make that number 3 on that one. Well, we thought Mr. Brown ran a sweet one in for UCLA. You're going to watch the high knees on this one. He took about 4 or 5 defenders with him.
Jason Hansen trying to give Washington State a 3-point lead. He does. It's 10-7. And Shambi right fair, like John Bond, who ran for 288 last week by Michigan, shredding the UCLA defense.
Well, Brian Brown ran one in from 8 yards out for UCLA. Shambi right fair. I mean, this is second, third, fourth effort. You know, Stacey Argo's trying to pull the guy down. He wants to score.
UCLA down by 3. And he showed it, bowling his way into the end zone on that touchdown. Shambi right fair, 3rd leading rusher in the Pac-10 this year. And Jason Hansen to kick off with Washington State owning their first lead of the game at 10-7. And Hansen says, see you later.
This guy got a leg. I mean, I've seen he was kicking through the uprights. Some kickoffs on Friday.
Get this, he kicked a 70-yarder in practice on Wednesday. With his best drive of the game, 63-yard march, and it was Shambi Wright Fair, 12-yard touchdown. And Shambi Wright Fair, you say, why does he have 2 last names? Well, his folks got divorced when he was in the 9th grade, and he said, Wright is my mom's maiden name, Fair is my dad's name, so I said, I'm going to use both.
It's okay.
Delightful guy. He's turned his entire history around. Tough streets of L.A. He is really come to life here in Pullman, Washington. Michael Wright, good defensive play as Tommy Maddox struggling to figure out that Washington State defense. Alvin Dunn, on the blitz.
Very rare for UCLA so far to throw on first down. They've been running every down to their tailback, Brian Brown. A little too much pressure on Maddox that time.
703 yards coming into this ball game. He has Reggie Moore off to the right side and Scott Miller left. 2nd and 10. Smith the lone setback. And this is Kevin Smith trying that middle, but there's not much there. And again, that offensive line having a tough time taking on really a very young defensive line. Rod Plummer on the tackle. It has been a very busy day for us here on ESPN. This is game 4 of our quadruple doubleheader. Tim Branda doing a marvelous job back at our ESPN College Football Studios. It's a 10-7 ball game here in Pullman, homecoming, where the crowd that is at Clarence Martin Stadium is 15,000 more than the entire city of Pullman. Maddox on 3rd down. He'll get the first down. He is very clever. His dad is a big story of his success, Wayne Maddox.
You bet.
I mean, they used to come home from high school football games on Friday, and Tommy had to stay up until 2:30 in the morning watching the films.
Watching with films with Wayne, and Glinda, Wayne's wife, Tommy's mom, got a job with American Airlines just so they can fly to watch this game, so they're attending the ball game tonight here in Pullman.
As soon as he signed with UCLA, she applied for the job. From the 31-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Play action. Complete. Oh, Miller's very clever. You know, we were talking about decisions by quarterbacks. How about decisions by receivers? They have to read the quarterback and the cornerback as well.
That's right. It's an all-side adjustment. Homer Smith's offensive philosophy is, hey, we'll call a certain play. We're going to read and react to what the coverage is. Tommy coming out, and this is very difficult for a quarterback on the run when he's right-handed, throwing to his left. But as you see there, he's got his shoulders turned around. He made a nice throw to Scotty Miller.
So it's a first down at the 49-yard line. UCLA down by 3. Movement on both sides.
Dead ball, ball start, offense, repeat first down.
Pat Flood, our referee tonight. Well, they had a fireworks display before this ball game off in the north end zone, and this place has been an absolute party atmosphere all day long.
Oh boy, this is college town.
The guilty party.
Yeah, this is college town though. The student body's been out here since 6 o'clock.
Maddox needs 15 again. On the right side, Washington State reads it beautifully. Vince Salivar and Lee Tillman. Is Washington State doing anything differently defensively? Because Mike Price told us the other day, we don't flash a lot. We do not blitz. We won't bring the safety, and he did already with Alvin Dunn.
Yeah, he has. Well, they got to change things up. You know, he talked about, hey, this is a young quarterback we're going against. The best weapon against a young quarterback is mixing up coverages, mixing up fronts, and they got it because Weber's been hurt. Josh Dunning's been playing now. Salivar's got his first start. I mean, they're mixing a lot of people up in that front line.
Loss of 2, and Maddox needs 17. He'll run the shotgun, and he's going closer to the center because the crowd is so loud that the receivers can't hear the signals. Sean LaChapelle. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Kirk Westerfield was the guy pressuring Maddox.
Oh, you're sitting in 3rd and 2nd down and 18 that time, Steve. Hey, the Cougars sitting back in 3 deep zone. But you mentioned about the shotgun situation. Not just the receivers can't hear. Maddox has a hard time hearing, you know, letting the center know that, hey, I'm talking to you. You know, hey, Lance, Zeno, you got to listen to me now. They got the complete, though. See, Lance Zeno, the center, who moved from guard last year, he has a hard time hearing him.
He played before 105,000 in Ann Arbor last week. But even Terry Donahue said this would be a fired-up crowd very close to the football field. Maddox needs 12. He's in trouble. Down he goes, 38-yard line. Kyle Foy.
Well,
6'2" redshirt freshman. He's very quick.
Oh, I just tell you, that's his first sack, but credit that sack in the secondary. That time they had double coverage, Ron Hawkins and Ron Ricard. Double coverage, Scotty Miller, and that's where Maddox was looking all the way to find number 2.
Special teams right now has been a big difference in this ball game. Tyler has not done the job and almost has this one blocked, but Booms maybe his best of the night. Bobo says, I'll take it, and go down one knee because he had 8 white jerseys in his face. 8:28 to play first half, 10-7 Cougars. 7 lead with 8:28 to play in the first half. Next Saturday, college football, 3 games on ESPN. Lafayette against Columbia at 12:30 Eastern time. LSU has a big ball game against Florida we'll tell you about a little later. Both those teams won today, and this is Shambi Wright Fair trying the right side. Stacey Argo and Brian Lockwood making the tackle. Mike Price saying early in the week about Shambi Wright Fair that he is just so talented. LSU and Florida winners today, 7:30 Eastern time next Saturday, and the final game of the Saturday, Washington State Cougars down in Southern California against the Trojans. Los Angeles teams back-to-back right here on ESPN. Shambi Wright Fair trying to get outside, can't do it. Brian Lockwood. This is a very young UCLA defense. They have 3 true freshmen that play a lot. Othello Henderson, Nkosi Littleton, and Bruce Walker.
We kind of talked about Washington State being banged up defensively. Well, UCLA has their share of problems too, Steve. 3rd and long, 3rd and 10, obviously passing situation. Let's see what the Cougars do here.
Gosson incomplete off the left side.
Gosson just, I tell you, excuse me, Steve, I just saw that Gosson put all his 3 wide receivers as speed people on the far side, the wide side of the field, and he looked this straight down at Clarence Williams. I mean, Roman Pfeiffer was making the coverage, but I tell you, everybody was over there making the coverage. Brad's got to learn now, hey, I just can't stare down that tight end. There's their best weapon right here offensively so far.
Last time, or the first time he touched the football on a punt, he went 47 yards to set up the first and only UCLA touchdown. They're trailing 10-7. Fine kick by Hansen. And what a day it has been for Tim Brando. This is his 4th game of this quadruple header, and the coffee man, let's go to him now, Tim Brando.
All right, Stephen, a never-ending saga of trying to take care of our new analyst. Portland State beating Cal State Sacramento 41-24. Curtis Delgado, a school record, 225 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, set up 2 others. Not quite the same when Mouse Davis coached Neil Lomax at Portland State, but they're still winning, Neil. Let's get back to Steve and Neil.
225 yards rushing. What is this?
We didn't rush for that for 4 years I was there. Rushing.
UCLA football, 43-yard line. Cougars by 3. Maddox to Brown. Short game near the 45-yard line. Kurt Newton coming up from his inside linebacker spot. He was a junior college transfer from Butler Junior College. UCLA offense that has been non-existent in the first 3 games. Brown trying to become the man. Maddox bootleg completes the pass to Austin for the first down inside the 43-yard line.
Well, this is the play that got him down in the red area on the first drive with that fine punt return by Scott Miller. Hey, give this to Tommy Maddox. I mean, great fake. You got Tillman pulling over there. 83 Lee Tillman's over there. I mean, you got Weber, you got Newton, Plummer. Everybody's going over there. And hey, Randy Austin comes underneath. Little dig pattern. Ron Ricard makes the tackle.
There's Randy Austin. There are some who say he is the best in the Pac-10. Tremendous blocker. But he says, I want to catch the football more. Brown again across the 40-yard line. Newton again on the stop.
Washington State coaches all pumped up on the sideline. They think they got a fumble.
And this is the second time that Mike Price has been furious about the decision by the officials. Earlier, the fumble.
Exactly. He's yelling right here, hey, that's twice now. Umpire, head official. Holy cow. Well, maybe it wasn't that, but he said, hey, that's twice that we had the football on fumbles, and you haven't given it to us. Let's see if we can catch it here, Steve. You got Brown just taking it off tackle. Can't quite see it from that angle, but you got a lot of red shirts jumping all over the play. Cruton, there it is, scooting out a little bit. Ron Ricard, number 26.
First time it looked like it should have been Washington State football. That time it looked like Brown was down. Play action again. Intercepted! John Diggs. He's to the 30-yard line. He could go, and John Diggs will score for Washington State. 70 yards. Talked about the UCLA safeties, Eric Turner, Matt Darby, being so talented. But how about Alvin Dunn and John Diggs? They may be the 2 most underrated safeties, according to their coach, Mike Price.
Well, they are good, and they showed it right there after Hansen puts this gimme through for a single point. I think we're going to bring this up again. Well, listen to this crowd, boy. They went wild. Holy cow.
It's homecoming at Pullman, and right now they are happy as John Diggs intercepts the Tommy Maddox pass.
You know, number 1, you hate to throw interceptions, but number 2, you hate to throw interceptions on an away game when the crowd gets this fired up. Tommy had a little pressure in his face, did not even see Diggs coming up. Plummer actually put a lot of pressure on Maddox, and this is going to be interesting for us to see if he can come back from something like this. This is something young quarterbacks in the past, hey, they have a hard time doing, throwing an interception. He had Reggie Moore coming across the field, but again, we talked about it. Tommy Maddox has been excellent at throwing across his body, but that time, hey, he couldn't quite do it. Jerome Woodley, number 90, put some heat on him, but hey, he never even saw him. I'll give him credit. I just want to see now, how does UCLA respond to this young quarterback?
And Neil, that's one of the difficulties of a young quarterback. Sometimes you got to take the sack, and Brad Gosson knows when to sit down. Mike Price saying the kid almost refuses to throw an interception. He'll be sacked on 3rd down, but he will not turn it over.
Yeah, Brad also is 23 years old and is a senior. Tommy's only 19.
Well, Hansen pumps it deep again, 5 yards deep. It's UCLA football at the 20-yard line. Let's check out Tim Brando at our ESPN College Football Studios. Tim, what's happening?
Rice and Houston are happening, Steve. Think about this. Klinger had 208 yards passing in the first half, still only 7 points because of 2 interceptions. He just connected with Pat Cooper for a 78-yard strike. It's 22-15, but Rice is moving inside the 35 with under a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Fred Goldsmith's club is making a move tonight in the Southwest Conference.
Thanks, Tim. And Terry Donahue a little concerned because last week it was Michigan who ran through them, and their defense all of a sudden got the edge. And now Washington State is beginning to pin their ears back as well. Randy Austin. And what Donahue's having to do is throw more. He wanted to get that running game going, but when you're behind by 10 points, you want to get back with 4:54 left and make some kind of momentum going to the second half.
Yeah, it just seems like we were just talking about earlier, hey, they're like this because they're back in the game. But it's good to see Homer Smith coming right back and calling a pass for Tommy Maddox. That's the best thing to do. Hey, so he threw a couple outside curveballs. Let's come right back and throw that strike.
Brian Brown. Nice play. Newton again, the middle linebacker. And you know, you're talking about that play. It is like a pitcher. When you get hurt pitching inside, they may hit a home run occasionally, but you got to come inside and break the bats and keep them honest.
Well,
and they came right back with that pass.
Exactly right. Talking to Terry Donahue last night, I asked him, hey, if Tommy Maddox starts having a bad game, starts feeling the pressure, will you take him out? He said, no. This guy, I'm going to stay with this guy for the next 4 years.
Well, Kurt Newton from Kansas City, Kansas. Taking over at middle linebacker. Scrimmage. They busted free with Kevin Smith. He gets the first down, and Ricard maybe making a touchdown-saving tackle. They put a play in like that against Oklahoma in the opener, and Smith flashed the distance for a touchdown.
Yeah, I tell you, anytime you start throwing the ball, it opens up the running game and vice versa. And boy, you're right, against Michigan, this guy busted it off, and he was out the gate and scored. So Terry thinks this is one of their best backs. Is fine is Kevin Smith.
That was the Wolverines last week. 17-7 Cougars lead.
Shotgun on first down, Steve.
He has a wide open receiver off the left side. Sean Wills, the receiver.
Robertson, you see they're just dropping a coverage. I think that shotgun actually surprised them. They couldn't check out. They had to go in some type of zone defense. Robertson replacing Newton on that play.
Brown, big hole. He's near a first down. He needs to get just across the 42-yard line for a first down. They'll mark it shy of first down by about a yard. Great against the run.
It sure is, and I think that's why they have Roberson and Newton switching off the run situation, pass situation. Now it's second down and 1. Definitely a run situation here. 2 tight ends in.
3 minutes to play in the first half. Washington State leading by 10. UCLA, are they in danger of losing their 3rd this year? Brown trying for the first down. He should have it. Remember that Tommy Maddox was down 21-7 in the second half, opening the 3rd quarter against Stanford. And he brought his club back to win that game, 32-31. There's Lee Tillman with a big hit.
That ball game definitely solidified Mr. Maddox's starting position. Terry Donahue had no qualms about starting this guy for the next game against Michigan. His dad was not so proud of him. Wayne was not so proud of him playing. But what he had to say to the press afterwards, he handled himself like a 21-year-old senior.
stop it. And it looked like big number 76, Derek Stevens, redshirt freshman from Bakersfield.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense. Repeat, first down.
1st and 15 now. UCLA 6th penalty, 45 yards. Sean LaChapelle comes in, leaving the context. At fullback Kevin Smith, they may go to 3 wide receivers, and they will with Reggie Moore off to the left. And there's a wild man, Dan Weber.
The Snake Man. He owns a boa constrictor at home. Call him the Snake Man.
And he wraps it around his neck and rides around town on his motorcycle.
You gotta love him.
Maddox will scramble. Tillman's there, and he sacks him again at midfield.
Well, Tillman, the leading sacker, coming the ball game. He had 2, Steve. Records another one tonight. Going shotgun on 2nd down to pick up at least half the yardage. That's the goal. Rusher's just doing it. Kurt Westerfield puts the pressure on him at first, and Tillman comes in and cleans up the act. You want to get this pickup half this yardage when you're in 2nd down.
They need 19 for the first down. LaChapelle in the slot, left side. Dumps it over the middle. Look who's there. Fumble on the play. Who has it? No, it's an
incomplete. This is going to make Mike Price not a very happy camper.
Three times he applied for this job. Finally got it on the 3rd try as Dennis Erickson, his great friend, left for Miami.
Again, throwing off the wrong foot, feeling a little pressure. Great job, but just actually getting the ball off. It's a good job. Just to, I tell you what, the pressure being put on by the front 4 and all the injured. I'm really impressed so far by the Wash. Coach Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, is doing a good job of substituting those front 4.
Maddox 8 for 15, 82 yards, and the one big mistake. He's going downfield. Sean LaChapelle, what a catch!
And Michael Wright's going to get 15 more. Putting the headhunting shot on LaChapelle. Great catch, great concentration. Hey, big 3rd and 19 pickup.
And Neil, of all the receivers last week against that tough Michigan defense, LaChapelle had the biggest game with 5 clutch catches.
Well, you get down by that much to a Wolverine team, hey, they're going to let you catch a couple ones, but great job by Maddox of stepping up the pocket. You know you're going to get a lot of pressure because the defensive line, hey, you're going to throw the football. We're going to put our ears back and get you.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense during the run. First down.
Maddox doing a nice job reading the zone and then finding LaChapelle in the middle.
He does a good job here looking the safeties off to his left, comes back, not the prettiest ball in the world, but it's very effective. Watch Wright come across there. You just don't watch those Jack Tatum films that much to do something like that.
UCLA, number 1.
1:10 remaining in the first half. Tommy Maddox bringing back UCLA. 1:10 to play, but UCLA has the football. And coming up at halftime, Tom Mees with a look at the Cincinnati Reds. They clinched the West for the first time in 10 years, and Roger Clemens, he returns an outstanding passer. Boston now with a 2-game lead. It's 1st and 10. Inside handoff. Brian Brown to the 8-yard line, and then he is mauled by Chris Moton. Well, it started out 7-0 UCLA tonight. Brian Brown with an 8-yard run. He pulled his way into the end zone.
Number 2.
Jason Hansen hit from 22. And Shambi Wright Fair dragged 3 would-be tacklers into the end zone. And John Diggs went 72 yards on Tommy Maddox's biggest mistake of the night. His only interception. But as Rick Neuheisel, who's the outstanding quarterback from the early 80s, was telling us, all the kid needs, like any young quarterback, is experience.
That's something he's got to put on the shelf right now. But I tell you, this has been very impressive to me. There's Rick Neuheisel right there with the headphones on, the mouthpiece up, telling, hey, this is what I used to do in 1983 when I brought some teams back. This is what you need to do right here. And Tom, they all respect him. You know, Rick's only really his 3rd year coaching for the Bruins. He played a little bit of the USFL with the San Antonio Gunslingers, of all places. Remember, used to watch him in those USFL days.
How about that Rose Bowl?
Hey, UCLA, 2 in a row they won a few years back, huh, Steve? He's getting them pumped up. This has been very impressive to see again how Tommy has come back from that interception. He's brought this team back on this big drive late in the second quarter.
Terry Donahue's UCLA Bruins facing a 2nd down and 8 situation. Football on the 8-yard line. They still can get a first down, but they need to get about the 6-inch line. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time, the Toronto Blue Jays take on the Boston Red Sox. Blue Jays 2 games back. Maddox from the shotgun. 3 split receivers. Loops it in the end zone. Incomplete. Great coverage from Ron Ricard.
We got a little man-to-man coverage that time. Maddox just wanted to go up on top, get the quick 6 to La Chapelle. Dunn made a good job of breaking that up. Down this area in the red area, you're going to play a lot of man-to-man because you want to get pressure on the quarterback. Maddox will see what kind of reaction. He thinks it might be there. It's getting there. Dunn, a little right-hand shove there with that broken finger, but he got away with it.
It was Alvin Dunn, the strong safety, who picked him up. So it's 3rd down and 8 yards to go. 17-7, Washington State. Cougars throwing blitz, and
they can't hear. They can't hear, Steve.
And he's audibleizing, and he says, no, timeout. He gets it.
Timeout. UCLA, that's their last timeout.
You heard it, their last time out, and Terry Donahue is furious about the way his young offense is playing. But you know what? Coach Donahue's football team the last 2 years has sent 17 players to the NFL. I mean, we're talking great talent.
In 2 years, too.
Very young ball club.
Yeah, he's done the best he can down there in Westwood. You know, he's only had, like you said earlier, a losing back-to-back season, 1963 and 1964. He doesn't want that to happen again in 89 and 90. They need 7 points down here. It's been a very, very positive drive for Tommy Maddox coming back from that interception. Homer Smith's probably yelling in Rick Neuheisel's ear right now. This is what I want you to tell these guys and make it clear. We got to get that ball in the end zone.
And you know, the last 2 times UCLA has stumbled to a sub-500 record, it has been that offensive coordinator, Homer Smith, to regroup them and help revive that Bruin offense. Trying to do it again, this time the 3rd time.
Yeah, he had a little stint in Kansas City for a few years, Steve, and went to Alabama for 2 years, and UCLA fans would love to have Homer back.
Reggie Moore goes wide to the right. Michael Moore and Sean LaChapelle to the left.
I'm surprised they're not going to go underneath the center. They're staying with shotgun.
Complete. Reggie Moore wanted pass interference. But Michael Wright, the best cover guy on the Washington State side, was right there step for step.
The officials term that incidental contact. You get that all the time when you're down there. Tough break for the Bruins. Fantastic drive, taking the ball all the way down after that turnover. Maddox makes a nice. Look at the touch in this ball. Very pretty ball. I mean, you couldn't throw the ball any better than this. They get their feet tangled up a little bit. That's questionable.
You're a quarterback. You want all the calls. Left hash mark. 26 yards out. Brad D'Aloiso. It is good, and it's a 17-10 Cougars lead. He kicked the game winner against the Stanford Cardinal a couple of games back, where they won 32-31.
And what a game that was. We watched the video of that a few days ago preparing for this game, and man, I'll tell you, that big play was actually the botched extra point, Steve, that we saw. Maddox throws for the 2-point conversion. Really, it was the difference of that ball game.
You know, we've been talking about the Washington State defense and how they've been confusing Maddox. How responsible is this homecoming crowd?
Well, again, it's just a lot of pressure. We talked about the changes of, hey, what goes on nowadays in the college quarterback. Just a lot of pressure now. They got to know so much about defensive terminology, let alone their own offensive terminology.
You know, because of the pressure of this pennant race, we're bringing baseball your way tomorrow with the Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. Because of that, at 1 o'clock, we will show the NASCAR Tyson Holly Farms 400 tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt are in a dogfight. Daloiso hammers it deep. And a flag will fly as it went out of bounds, left corner, so Daloiso will try it again.
Illegal procedure, kicking team, re-kick.
You know, this is only Daloiso's third year of football. He played soccer in high school and the junior college ranks, so he is very young. So is their punter, Courtney Kyler.
All these kickers, the soccer kicker, the soccer style, that's why they get so much length on these balls. They all play soccer in junior high and high school. They get their college scholarships because, man, they boom. I mean, Hanson's been booming the ball out of the end zone on kickoffs. And Daloiso's doing almost the same. He just missed that Kaufman corner kick right there.
This is game 4 of our ESPN quadruple header. Long day for Tim Brando, but it has been a good one as we brought 4 excellent football games your way. What a game between Tennessee and Auburn. Game 3. Tom Mee standing by. He'll be bringing us up to date at halftime. Not only college football, but the Major League Baseball race. Washington State will have it with 47 seconds left. Cougars 17-10 over UCLA.
20-30.
Daloiso, he says, take me back another 5 yards.
Yeah.
I'm still kicking into the
We just talked about these kickers on his. I don't think I could be more impressed by the performance of both these kickers, Daloiso and Jason Hanson. Now, hey, don't take for granted that Washington State can't score in 47 seconds either. They haven't shown much offensively, but we'll see.
Dump it over the middle, and Gossett, boy, as soon as he threw it, he hopped in the air as if, oh no, I hope that cornerback doesn't find that football.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw them do this. Just a little delay, middle screen against Cal a couple times. Should have had 1 or 2 interceptions on the play, and they're showing it again. Very dangerous play. You overthrow it, underthrow it. Brad's not, of course, that happy with the statistics. He's a lot better quarterback than his stats show right now, only 5 for 12, 50 yards, but he's got a whole half to play. In this drive, he can pick up a lot right here.
43 seconds left. They have not got to him yet, and this is Williams at the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. They'll still need 5 to go as Darby came on with a solid hit. But Mike Price saying Clarence Williams, Butch Williams, probably will be the best tight end we have ever had.
Number 1.
Pat Beach, who played for the Indianapolis Colts, a great one, but Clarence Williams should break all of the Washington State tight end records.
Oh, no question about that. You know, his first game against TCU, 6 catches, 106 yards, a touchdown for his first game. He's got 19 catches for 254 yards and 2 TDs, and an offense that really utilizes the 3 wide receivers. You don't think you throw the tight end that much. They certainly like him.
Big number 98. He's got another tight end right behind him who has an NFL father, Reg Carolyn. As a tight end is Brett Carolyn.
Brett, huh?
I saw Reg Carolyn play in the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs. Big tight end Fred Arbanis, he played behind him. So Brad Gossett comes back out. Big play in this football game for Washington State that has given the Cougars a lead was a 72-yard interception return by that guy John Diggs. Maddox thrown into coverage, jumped in, and he made a nifty run down the right sideline. 3 receivers right side. Gossett loops it over the middle. Philip Bono for the first down. Stacey Argo, and maybe if he gets away from Argo.
I don't know. I don't know how Pfeiffer missed that ball either. He took a swat at it. Man, it must have got underneath his arm. Here's Gossett with the hurry-up offense.
He just throws the ball to the ground. Stops the clock with 21 seconds left. They still have 2 timeouts to work with, and what they're trying to do is they've got a huge weapon on the sideline in Jason Hanson. And one time this year, Mike Price brought him out from 67 yards out.
There's that play before. Now you see number 40, Roman Pfeiffer, coming in there. I I can't believe he didn't get a hand on that ball. Stacey Argo made the tackle, but you're right, Steve. They only have to go maybe another 10 yards. And they're in range for Hansen.
And he said, what happened was we had a too much time penalty, went back 5 yards, and so Price took me out. But I said, hey, just because he thought of me in that situation from 67.
Washington State, number 2.
Hansen warming up on the sideline. He is college football's best. Hit 3 for 4 from beyond 50 this year.
He's already got 33 points this year, 12 for 12 PATs, 7 for 11 field goals, counting the one already today. The guy, the thing I like about him, the guy can punt, not just kick off and get the field goals, but he can punt. Boy, you think the pros like this guy?
Well, I tell you, I hate him. He's got a 3.8 in pre-med. He's smart. He's good looking. He can play football. He's leading the nation in punting. I mean, come on, give everybody else a chance for some success.
I'm going to call him up and say, hey, I can negotiate a pretty sweet contract for you. Just give me a call down in Phoenix. Give me a holler. We'll talk in the off season. You know, get that major of yours first. Get that degree. We'll set you up pretty good with one of those NFL teams.
Well, Mike Price said his field goal range is from Pullman to the Palouse, and that's 18 miles.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I don't know who's more confused right now. Mike Price, what's going on the field goal with the offense. Brad Gosselin killed the clock with the just go ahead and a dead throw, we call it, in the NFL or the college football. You go ahead and just throw it down to kill the clock. But they had to take a timeout after that. Time management isn't the best suit right now for the Cougars. I don't know what they really want to do here. I don't think they do either.
Well, they send the 3 wide receivers to the right side. And now a 4th. And that's Rich Swinton, a speed back. And Gosselin's looking left, throwing that way. It's complete out of bounds to Williams. He may be shy of the first down.
They're getting what they wanted. They go that trips over there, and they send either Swinton or Shambe Reitfer over there. You're getting man-to-man with Clarence Williams, and that's a matchup the Cougars will take all night. They're getting in that range right now. Hansen's range I'm talking about.
This is Rich Swinton, gets the first down. He's past midfield, and he's getting into Hansen territory.
Clock stop for the first down in college ball. I believe Brad here will do a kill the clock again. Set them up. It's first down, unless they already call the second play in the huddle.
Again, they rifle it down with 8 seconds to go. They may go one more pass to that sideline and bring on number 4.
No, they had enough, Steve. They're going to bring Jason Hansen from here.
Well, they bring him on. His best ever is 58 against Brigham Young last year.
How about this?
Let's see if he has it in him.
62. Student bodies on their feet.
It's on the way. And it will be wide and a bit short. But he gave it a try from 62 yards out. 2 seconds remaining before halftime, and Washington State owning a 7-point lead. And Mike Price said, Jason, you wanted to try from 60 plus, and you got it right there.
He sure did.
Cougars were down 7-0 to start this ball game on a Brian Brown 8-yard touchdown run. And then they came back on Shambe Wright Fair's touchdown run. And Terry Donahue watched his young redshirt freshman quarterback throw an interception, and watch Diggs bring it back 72 yards. Maddox from the 45. Final play at the half. He's airing it out. It's incomplete, and we'll head to halftime with Washington State leading UCLA 17-10. Big play of the first half was the interception by number 22 John Diggs. He brought it back 72 yards.
Maddox never even saw Diggs coming across, makes a pickoff, and hey, Tommy, when you make that interception, at least try to make that tackle too. I think he tried, but it's too bad.
Saturday in Pullman, Washington, where the Cougars lead the UCLA Bruins 17-10. Steve Physiak along with Neil Lomax. And Neil, when this game started, we anticipated an offensive showcase. But if you're really impressed with one part of this game, it's the Washington State defense, which is very young.
They've been outstanding. You know, Coach Zimmer's got to be pleased. You know, we saw fireworks before the game. We expected that on both offenses. We haven't got it. The biggest play, a defensive touchdown by Washington State. Diggs ran it all the way in for 60 yards, so I expect a lot more offense. I've been disappointed in both offensive shows, especially Gosson and Washington State. Look at the stats. Only 7 first downs for Washington State. But look at the yardage passing. Only 76. I mean, that's a couple series usually for Brad Gosson, so that's been too impressive.
And the time of possession completely different. UCLA had like 70% to 30% at their disadvantage in the first 3 football games.
And only one turnover.
To go in the air.
Yep.
And when they went to the ground, Shambi Wright Fair showed why he is one of the best running backs in the Pac-10.
Oh, man, I tell you, we talked about a la Roger Craig on the first touchdown by Smith and by Brown. Look at this touchdown, Steve.
Well, let's go for the second half. Pullman, Washington. It's a near sellout crowd. They've been partying all day long. Pullman, Washington has 24,000 people, and almost all of them are students, and they came out tonight. Jason Hansen will kick off. With 2 seconds left, he missed a 62-yard field goal near the end of the half. UCLA had 1 offensive possession. Hansen gets it to the 1. And look at that! Special teams play. Philip Tuval. So UCLA with trouble.
This starts it off on the right foot. Special teams, we talked about it earlier. Terry Donahue thinking, hey, I got better special teams than you do. Mike Price says no. Derek Duval, man, what a great tackle there. Only they start an 11-yard line.
Well, this man, Tommy Maddox, was down 21-7 to Stanford at the half. He came in to replace Jim Bonds, and now he must do it himself. And Brian Brown struggling here for just a couple of yards as Kurt Newton, we've called his name a lot. He had 14 tackles against Wyoming last week in Washington State victory over California, 13 tackles. And how about the Golden Bears with a big win today?
Down in Arizona, too, Steve. What's a tough place to play. They had a great victory over Oregon last year. They haven't beat the Bears since 1986.
And Mike Price was saying, hey, this is a big game for us.
Oh, yeah.
Pullman, Washington. Hey, UCLA was in Ann Arbor, Michigan last week. They can't be impressed with 38,000 fans after seeing 105,000 fans last week. But talking to the UCLA personnel, as we see Kirk Westerfield coming with the big sack, they're saying the crowd has been responsible, that this crowd of 38,000 is louder than the Michigan crowd was last week.
Well, that's certainly been evident when UCLA has the ball, which they do now in the shotgun formation. I'm really surprised they didn't go to a under the center type of offense in the last drive we saw at the goal line. And here we go again, a big 3rd down and 16, 3rd down and 18 here.
The battle in the Southwest Conference goes Houston's way. And they try the run. Brian Brown will not get the first down, and it's punting time. And Courtney Kyler has had a tough night where UCLA will come on and punt from deep in his end zone. Tony Salter, Kurt Newton again on the tackle, and once again we've mentioned Newton's name all day long.
Well, he had 53 total tackles coming into this game, Steve, leading the entire team in total tackles. He's had 7 or 8 tonight.
3 yards deep into the end zone. Philip Bobo standing near midfield. It's Bobo. Looks to the right side. Sneaks down. Is to midfield. To the 35-yard line. Inside near the 31. Mike Price said we have better special teams than UCLA, and they've shown that tonight. Hansen punting and kicking, and Bobo now in the return.
Punting's been the big difference in the game. It wasn't for Gamble on this play. Bobo's going to go all the way and score. Courtney Kyler hitting some balls, some line drive balls. He sets up nothing but good returns. We saw Scott Miller do it. Philip Bobo does a great job of bringing this back. Gamble making the tackle. Save a touchdown.
Double tight end. Not much there. As that grass basketball is slowing down. They're trying to get their running game going. Bobo comes back out. He's a slot man, and they did not expect to see him play a lot. C.J. Davis, though, has that bad shoulder, and Rodney Johnson, who is supposed to be their starting slot back, didn't make his grade. So Bobo, who they anticipate could be the next Tim Stallworth, but he's a very young player, just a redshirt freshman. Three receivers right side, but Gosson's looking left. Now he must scramble. And down he goes. I'll tell you what he did right there was what Tommy Maddox did not do on that 72-yard interception by John Diggs.
Well, I just don't understand a lot of times when an offense has three great wide receivers and they're really trying to execute a simple pass to their tight end, Clarence Williams. Yeah, take it for granted he's a good tight end. And Gosson might be shaking up on the play. I think he is. He's listing on that right side and that right shoulder, which is just not his throwing shoulder. He's a left-handed quarterback. But Aaron Garcia has come to the game, and he's had quite a short career, but quite a career. He's had a lot of playing time the last couple of years, Steve.
Here's Aaron Garcia out of Sacramento, California. Last year he led the Pac-10 in passing efficiency, so he's a dandy as well. Three receivers left side. Garcia will throw right away. Almost intercepted, but Bobo comes up with it, and that could have tied the game.
Roman Pfeiffer had nothing but on the AstroTurf all the way. Darby was in there as well. I tell you what, we could have seen another one, equalizer on the offense. First throw, Garcia's first snap, probably needs a little chance to warm up. Roman Pfeiffer, I mean, 60 yards for a touchdown. Not to be, and here comes Hansen in, Steve, to try another long field goal.
54 yards out for Jason Hansen. He missed earlier from 62. His best ever is 58. He has it up. It has the distance, and it is good. The Cougars go back up by 10. He is 4 for 6 this year from beyond 50 yards out, and his misses have been from 55 and 62.
And he's shaking his head, Steve. He can't believe he hit it because he didn't hit it that good.
It's 20-10 Cougars. PN's presentation of college football is being brought to you by Isuzu for feature, styling, and price. There's no comparison. And by Amtrak, with over 500 destinations nationwide for you to choose from. It's homecoming in Pullman, Washington. Brad Gosson, who had to leave the ball game because of an injured right shoulder. He's now talking with his offensive coordinator upstairs, but he says he wanted right back out there when we were watching him on the sideline. It'll be UCLA football. They have struggled, but Jason Hansen just hit from 54 to push that Cougar lead back to 10. And he blasted again. And it is gone, a home run. It's not even a ground rule double.
I tell you what, he almost kicked that in Moscow, Idaho, where we were staying last night. Boy, this kicking. I love the shot our producer got of him. He's holding his head. He's all upset because he really didn't get all of it, but he hits a 54-yarder, and he's hitting himself like, gee whiz, I could do better than that. I want a nice little end over end.
Lomax is down visiting him the other day, trying to talk him into representing him when he wants to go to the NFL. There he is, 54-yard field goal. He's made 2 tonight, one from 22, one from 54. Has only missed from 62 yards out. Almost had the distance, a bit off to the left. Maddox, play action, scrambling around. Look at that Washington State defense. A young line. We told you about them missing 4 players from a year ago, all who went to play in the pros. And this time it was Tino Romero.
Constantino Romero. And I tell you, it's too bad, too, because another player on the Bruins, Randy Austin, after this great play-action fake by Tommy Maddox, right down the middle of the field in the cover 2 zone. The safeties are covering the hash mark, was wide open. Tommy just couldn't find him.
Maddox needs 18 for the first down and second down. Brian Brown breaks some tackles. He's finally hauled down. And you know, UCLA, Neil, has gone 14 straight games without a 100-yard rusher. Brown is trying to do that tonight. With that carry, he's nearing 65 yards rushing. Moton, John Diggs bringing him down. But he's needed 19 carries to do it. Third down 9 from the shotgun. The crowd has bothered Tommy Maddox. Incomplete, it's fourth down. Neil, during halftime, I went down to talk to Paul Olden, who's the radio announcer for UCLA, and he said the Michigan crowd was never this loud last week. They were always controlled. The crowd rested and watched the football game, appreciated what was happening, but always with a confident feeling that the Wolverines would win. But he said Maddox is having such a difficult time of getting the communication to his receivers.
I'm really surprised they haven't gone under center in the third down situations. I think it is confusing Tommy and their receivers.
Tyler's had a tough night. Sloan has been 48, but he shanked one, and he really gets off an unhappy one here. And Bobo with the return again. Last time he went 38. This time he gets back to midfield. And the Cougars start with great field position again. Here in Pullman, Washington State leads by 10. Bruin cheerleaders in front of a hostile crowd wondering what to do to come back on this fierce Washington State defense. Well, right now it's the offense that's in control, and they've got the ball midfield, and Gosson is back in there. And this is Shelby Wright fair, out of bounds near the 48-yard line, up down by Carlton Gray, the cornerback. Now Gosson is a tough guy. He played last year against Washington when he got sacked allowed 6-7 times, but he keeps on coming back.
Well, he had that broken thumb last year, kept him out of 6 football games. That's what gave Aaron Garcia a chance to play. Had his knee injured during spring ball, missed all spring practice, but he's back in there. And I got to warn Washington State, don't get too conservative now. I know you got a 10-point lead, but hey, you need to put the ball up once in a while.
Out of the 45-yard line, Stacey Argo, Roman Pfeiffer.
They kind of expound on that point, Steve, and here's a Washington State team that's produced great quarterbacks. They're throwing Samoa and Jack Thompson. You got Tim Rosenbaum, the #1 pick for the Phoenix Cardinals. As you see a replay of this game of Shambe Reitfer going to the left side, Roman Pfeiffer, the leading tackler for the Bruins, makes another tackle. And here you got again a guy like Brad Gosson, a great quarterback. Let's see what he can do. He's only really 6 for 16 in the first half. Hey, that's not the numbers you like to have for Brad Gosson.
UCLA having to go tonight without their 2 best defensive linemen, Mike Chelensky and Brian Kelly, both injured. Gosson way overthrowing his target.
That's got to be the receiver's fault. Something like that happens, Steve. It's always
the receiver's fault.
Don't forget to throw
every
in.
time.
And speaking of Wazoo quarterbacks, don't forget Mark Rippon, plays for the Redskins. So they've had a great legacy of some QBs down here.
Hansen back in. UCLA showing the return. As Miller, first time, brought it back 47 yards to set up the only Bruin touchdown. Hansen hammers it deep. Hits at the 2 and bounces in. And UCLA and Tommy Maddox, the redshirt freshman, just 19 years old, has to come back from 10 down at Pullman. UCLA, 7 minutes, 59 seconds to play in the third quarter. Maddox remains on the field at quarterback, and you're taking a look at All-American kicker Jason Hansen, who's been booming them tonight. He's hit from 22, he's hit from 54 field goals, and he's averaging down near 50 yards per punt. And Maddox throws the incompletion. Well, sometimes you have to suffer with the youngsters as they go through growing pains. and UCLA feels number 8 could be one of the great quarterbacks in UCLA future. And when you talk great punters, you have to mention Ray Guy of the Oakland Raiders.
Look at this extension. Yeah, speaking of a great one that's going to be and is right now, Jason Hansen. Watch the extension with the foot. I mean, his knee touches his face mask, keeps his head down like a great golfer does, and this guy can kick the thing.
Remember Ray Guy, that extension had always, he looked like a ballerina. Brown, not much there. They are playing tough defense, and again, it is Kurt Newton, number 52. How many times have we called his name?
34. I've been counting 34 times, I think. Oh, they're just, I'll tell you, Coach Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator, just got to be so pleased, because that was one of his major concerns, Steve, was keeping that defensive line healthy throughout the ball game. Here's another shotgun, 3rd and 8 situation for the Bruins.
Newton replacing their best linebacker, Lewis Bush, and he's doing a great job. Maddox needs 8 yards on 3rd down. LaChapelle makes the catch, brought down at the 31-yard line.
Well, we're looking for a big play offensively. You finally got it. Beautiful, beautiful touch by Tommy Maddox. 47-yard pickup on the play. Boy, I tell you what, he laid that ball out there. Beautiful, LaChapelle. We were just talking about him, Steve. You really liked him against Michigan.
You know, he really communicates well, it seems like, with Tommy Maddox.
Well, he had the read that time. I tell you, Diggs was out of the middle, but he got back kind of late to make the coverage on LaChapelle. I was impressed with the touch there. Not just the distance, but boy, he had some nice touch.
Well, down goes big number 48, Khalif Carter. But, you know, we were talking about the wide receiver and the communication. Those cornerbacks trying to reroute receivers, you have to know where to go. And sometimes the wide receivers are almost thinking as much as the quarterback.
Well, they have to. They have to, because you call a certain play, and Homer Smith calls a certain number, certain play, but you got to side adjust to what the coverage tells you.
Maddox converted a 3rd and 8, 147 yards. He faces 2nd and 8 here. Middle, pass caught, Brian Brown, 1st down, 10-yard line. He's inside, near the 6-yard line. John Diggs making a touchdown-saving tackle.
And he's been there before, talking about number 22, made a big interception. But hey, I like what the Bruins are doing now. 2nd down and 10 on this one, Steve. They come with the shotgun formation. Hey, Tommy Maddox is doing a great job of just taking what they give you. You guys want to drop off in that 3-deep zone? Okay, fine. I'll just drop it off to Brian Brown. Get myself 15, 16 yards.
Smash mouth football with double tight end, and they give it to Brown. He smashes his way near the 2, near the 1-yard line. Newton again brought him down. Lewis Bush is the best linebacker they have. Academically ineligible to start the season. Kurt Newton came in. From Butler County Community College in the state of Kansas, he has taken over for Lewis Bush and Howe. 2nd down. And goal. Maddox sprung with the football, and a flag is down.
Referee too. Either that means something when he's trying to count the guys out there, Steve. Let's see what the call is. This again, short yardage, goal line offense. Tommy Maddox almost fumbled the ball. Good job of getting to his fullback, Khalif Carter. I don't know if he fumbled or not, but he held on to it. But the referee, we still have got no indication. I know Terry Donahue wants to know what the heck happened that time.
Has to back up.
I mean, it's a big one too,
15 yards.
15-yarder. Referee's mic was off. I don't understand that indication that he gave.
So from the 16, they cannot get a first down. They have to get the touchdown. They try the run. Brown wiggles by a couple, but that's all. It's 3rd down and long.
The Cougar defense gambled that time and blitzed 2 safeties from the weak side. Luckily for them, the Bruins called the run, and there's nowhere to go.
4 minutes, 50 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. UCLA is down to Washington State 20-10. Mike Price. He says, I have more trick plays than Carter has pills, and we have not seen that many trick plays tonight. The defense is the one that has been the difference in this game.
3rd and goal, they're going to zone you down here for sure. Not taking any chances.
Here comes Tillman again. Maddox will run. He pulled down at the 11-yard line. It's 4th down.
Well, he'll learn you can't slide down early. I know he slipped. He had about 4 or 5 more yards that he probably can pick up on this. Looking downfield, you got 3rd and goal. They're sitting back in a heavy zone. Got a lot of pressure up front, the defensive line. 99, Vince Saldivar making Tommy run. Yeah, he wouldn't have scored, but at least he got in a field goal position.
Well, after that 15-yard illegal participation call, Maddox places it down, and Daloiso has it through, and UCLA again has cut it down to 7. Bruins have been inside the 23 times. They have a touchdown and a pair of field goals to show for it, but they're still down by 7 points with 3 minutes and 44 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. You know, when this game started, we thought it might be 50-48. Washington State showing that they can play defense. It still could, but California last week ran over these guys. California beat Arizona, and then all of a sudden, Arizona State also struggling as they lost to Missouri.
That's right. In Missouri, tough place to play in Columbia, but you're right. You know,
Pac-10 champion could have a 5-2 record this year.
I tell you, they could have 2 losses in this conference. Doesn't say much for the conference if you got that. Or hey, is parity back in the Pac-10 or what? But you're right. I expected at least 40, 45 points to win this football game. They had to come back and beat Cal last week, 41-31 in a tight ball game. But hey, it still can happen. Got a lot of time, and I'm still waiting for Washington State to open up their offense.
Daloiso with a pair of field goals, and he'll kick off high end over end. There will be a return here. Washington State is run out. Tony Salter on the return. Washington State trying to go 2-0 in the conference and 3-2 overall. Beat Cal last week, and Gosson comes out. They have 3 very talented quarterbacks. Gosson one. Aaron Garcia, another talented young sophomore from Sacramento, California, who led the Pac-10 in passing efficiency last year. And Mike Price just raving about this big guy on the sideline, 6'5", Drew Bledsoe from Walla Walla, Washington. They dump it off. Up near first down before Eric Turner brings down C.J. Davis.
A nice little hot read right here by Brad Gosson. Defense dictates that, hey, they're not going to cover him up. I'm just going to take a couple steps back and hit him. I think this is just side adjustment again. Not really a hot receiver. He just knows the safety. Eric Turner's 10, 15 yards off. Let's just take the complete.
And what do you mean by hot receiver?
Well, if they do blitz, he is my hot guy. I'm going to go to him. But at this time, they just side adjust. There really was no blitz.
Great position for Gosson to be in, 2nd and 1. And Shambi, fair right, smashes the middle. The right fair. Fair right, right fair.
Right fair. Hey, he's doing it right. That's all I know. He's having a great game so far.
Chris Berman will have the fellas along with him tomorrow right here on ESPN as we have game day and primetime coverage. Berman, Jackson, the Axe, and Joe Theismann. Then at 7 o'clock they'll be all back to talk about what happened in the NFL on the 4th week of pro football. Shelby right there, 54 yards rushing, near the 400-yard mark this season. They get it to him again. and they want to swing it out to him as often as they can. You know, as Mike Price said about Shambi Wright's drive, he said, I don't want to make any rash statements because I can make rash statements about this guy, but he is really good.
Yeah, he's caught, not just rushed for 2 touchdowns either, Steve. He's caught 2 touchdowns. So he's in their entire offense. They give that guy the ball a lot, both receiving it and rushing it.
He had 134 yards against Cal and a touchdown. Shambi Wright fair again. It'll be 3rd and about 3. But anytime you can have 2nd and short, well, you make that defense guess, play honest.
Well, on their only their field goal drive in the 2nd quarter, Gosson was 5 for 5 in that series, the second half. But hey, they're doing everything. Look at 100 consecutive passes without interception. That's why they keep him in the game, even with all the injuries he's had. Steve, the guy can complete the pass to the right color jerseys. That's impressive. 100 on him. Whoa.
And that's why he's tops in passing efficiency. That grades in. And even his coach, as they try for the first down, Price said Gosson will be the best senior quarterback in the nation. He will lead the nation in passing efficiency, and he'll be the top graduating quarterback. Well, he is a tough guy here.
Yeah, he's not too happy about that. He's not too happy about that play selection by Joe Tiller. He certainly wanted to pass in 3rd and 4, as any quarterback would, but a little competitive spirit in there. It's good to see. A lot of time to play.
Read an article about him where he was talking about himself, and he said, I'm very quiet, reserved off the field, but I'm a gung-ho guy on the field, and we saw a little of that. Miller at the 11-yard line. Hansen gets it off.
There's hang time. Holy cow.
Fair catch at the 20-yard line. My goodness. Number 66 for Washington State did not give him much room to work with.
Well, you got a hang time of 4.5, 4.6 seconds. You're going to get a lot of folks down there covering your punts.
Washington State with a 20-13 lead here in the 3rd quarter. Fischerow sneaking in on Miller. Steve Fisiak and former Phoenix Cardinal quarterback Neil Lomax in the homecoming Saturday night here in Pullman, Washington, as redshirt freshman quarterback Tommy Maddox will try and rally his troops again. He had a big 3rd and 8 earlier, went 47 yards to Sean LaChapelle. Got the first down, got 3 points as the result. Looks deep again, goes deep, Miller out again. He makes the catch at the 40-yard line.
Well, Washington State's the team offensively. Thought we'd have the offensive firepower to throw the football. So far, UCLA coming out on 1st down. It's still in the 3rd quarter for 42 yards. Tommy Maddox puts it up. I mean, I think it surprised the defense of the Cougars again. Hey, it's 1st down. You're already going to a shotgun. They overplayed the zone. John Diggs should be in the middle of the field, not to the right side like that. Big play.
High formation. Miller to the right. He stays in the game. Brown with the sweep. Not much there. Newton's there again. Oh, man. He has been all over the field.
Newton, Plummer, Saldivar, Chris Moton. You've been calling those names a lot, Steve.
We are through 3 here in Pullman, Washington. And Kurt Newton already in double figures with tackles. Washington State has a 7-point. Washington on a Saturday night, and it is homecoming. This city only holds 24,000. They were fired up today, and they have seen their defense play a great game, and the leader of the pack has been Kurt Newton. 11 tackles tonight. Seems like we've said his name about 25 times.
He's been everywhere.
They got to do it again. 2nd down and 8. They were the story in the first 3 quarters. Can they do it for the final 15? Well, Tommy Maddox does not like the defense.
UCLA, number 1.
Calls the timeout.
Well, 2nd down and 8, but hey, you just came off the 3rd quarter in. But using a timeout here might cost them down the road in the 4th quarter.
UCLA took the early lead, their only touchdown of the night, on Brian Brown's 8-yard touchdown. A brutish performance. And then Jason Hansen made it 7-3 with a 22-yard field goal. That was followed up by Shambi Wright Fair. And he carried broke 6 tackles along the way. John Diggs picked off a Maddox pass, went 72. That made it 17-7. And then Galuiso headed to 17-10. Hansen, the All-American, 54-yard field goal, his fourth 50-plus yard effort this year. Galuiso again from 30. That's where we are as we head into the fourth quarter. Maddox looking at 2nd down and 8. 38-yard line of Washington State. Cougars showing that zone again. They go with a slot to the left side. Brown the eye back. Maddox again looking deep. He throws that way. Reggie Moore, first down inside the 20-yard line. Alvin Dunn making the tackle at the 15, and he's down. No, it is not done. It is down at the 15-yard line.
Well, Homer Smith prides his quarterbacks in selling that play action, throws the linebackers and the safeties enough in order then to find Reggie Moore. Maddox is one of his favorite receivers. I'll tell you also in the flat, Caleb Carter, the fullback, was in the flat. They get him the ball. Hey, he might be gone. I don't know if they blew a coverage on that zone or not, Steve, but hey, you can't complain about the big pickup.
Man down on the field is number 6, Chris Moton. 6'3", 205-pound senior from Englewood, California. And this guy is one of the leaders on defense. He styles his play after former USC great, one of the greatest free safeties of all time, Ronnie Lott, now all-pro at the San Francisco 49ers. And he is so responsible, has so many responsibilities with their defense, can play rover and safety while he's down. We'll take a break here in Pullman, Washington. 14:52 to play on a homecoming Saturday night. Cougars 20, UCLA 13. We have a good one as it's a 1st and 10 for Tommy Maddox and the Bruins. ESPN's presentation of college football has been brought to you by Mobil 1 Synthetic Motor Oil. Isn't your car worth the extra protection? And by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that green, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. UCLA down by 7 points with 14 minutes and 52 seconds to play. Look at those guys. They called Mom this morning and said, "Hey, honest, Mom, books did cost $1,100.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Please send money."
I'm telling you, it's tough in school these days. They're all pumped up about homecoming here in Pullman, Washington.
20-14. 20-13, excuse me. UCLA down by 7. Again, he'll run to Brian Brown, who runs for daylight to the 10-yard line. Ron Woodley. And Brown very quietly is having a very good game. Look who's getting up slowly. Kirk Westerfield, who's had a strong game, particularly against the run.
They can't afford to lose any more defensive linemen with Weber already hurt.
Very slowly, you're watching Tommy Maddox get a rhythm to his game. 320 yards, and in his last 4 passes, he's completed all 4 for 133 yards.
Hey, after that interception, that's the question I asked. How will he respond? And he certainly responded very well.
Because they can't hear him, he's using the hand signals to audibilize. Brown again. No first down. It'll be 3rd down. Looks like a long 2 as Rod Plummer brings him down.
I think you've been right on 2 accounts, Steve. They've audibilized, or I should say Tommy Maddox has audibilized twice. Yeah, they're going to blitz him on each side. Talking to Rick Neuheisel before the game, he said, yeah, they use hand signals to communicate to the receivers on the audible.
It's 3rd down and 2. UCLA needs a touchdown and an extra point to tie. Brown again, his 26th carry. And Dan Weber was there again. Kyle Floyd. performance despite winning against California. But they have risen to the occasion tonight. And then a job on UCLA. Last time was UCLA was number 1. Washington State beat them. They got Southern California. Here's the field goal from 25 yards out, and it is good. And we've got ourselves a 4-point ball game. The Cougars still lead it 20-16 as Daloiso kicks through his 3rd field goal of the night. Still down by 4 points. They've been inside the 20 of Washington State 4 times. They've come away with 4 scores, a touchdown, 3 field goals, and Daloiso will kick off again. Salter from the 3, looking for the wall. It's not there, and he goes down inside the 15-yard line along with a couple of flags. George Patton brought him down. Donahue, who has a special concern for his special teams, he's really gotten involved with the offensive line and special teams this year.
Well, he wants to see a lot of improvement, Steve, and watching them today in their workout over in the Kibbe Dome at the University of Idaho.
Flipping during the return, 1st and 10.
He was all over the field with the special teams in the dome for the little light workout. It was amazing how well he took control of the special teams.
Daloiso has 3 field goals. They have not been from the same distance as a Hansen, who hit a 54-yarder. He's the All-American. But right now, UCLA's defense has to pin their ears back again. Stop Washington State right here. But they try in the middle, and it's Chambé right fair, moving it out across the 10-yard line. Now, this is the 3rd different offensive look they have seen this year, that UCLA defense. They started with Oklahoma, a wishbone team. Then they went with Stanford to use that pro set. And then that smash mouth style last week. And now the spread. And now with a young defense, that has to be a very difficult adjustment.
Tough to prepare each week for different offenses.
11:49 to play. Goshen hasn't been sacked yet, and he almost has the pass picked off. And it would have been Calvin Griggs' fault. Griggs, who's been their big 3rd down receiver. Darby with the stick.
Just a little hesitant. I'm noticing some really conservative play by the Cougars the last quarter and a half. Yeah, they got a little lead, but hey, you're playing the Bruins from UCLA. Terry Donahue never had a losing season back-to-back since '64, so Goshen just a little tender with his throws right there. Maybe that shoulder injury still bothered him a little bit as he checks his wrist. They list about 15 plays on his wrist that they'll single in, and obviously he can't find one of those 15, so he's going to call a timeout.
Timeout, Washington State, number 1.
Goshen goes talk to his coach, Mike Price. Terry Donahue finds his team down by 4. Cougars 20-16. The Niners three-peat in 1990. Well, here in Pullman, Washington, Brian Brown, who ran for just 30 yards in his first 3 games, has 83 and 27 carries on this ball game. 20-16. Goshen in trouble. Down he goes. And who was that man? Emmanuel Onwetwebe.
Well, that'll go down as his first sack of his young nose guard career. Big 3rd down conversion there. They couldn't get it again. Haven't been too impressed with the conservative style of Brad Gossen's Washington State offense, really the entire game. He checked out that time, but to no avail. He didn't see anything.
Hansen needs a big kick here. 1 yard from the end line. Miller at midfield. He hits it well. 48-yard line. Chancellor will run back. Gets a good block, heads down the sideline, and is out of bounds at the 43-yard line. And all of a sudden you begin to think, Neil Lomax, that, my goodness, they're giving Tommy Maddox a chance. Oh, tomorrow on ESPN, Boston Red Sox trying to close in on that American League East title as they take on the Toronto Blue Jays. They've won the first 2, and Clemens gave them a great show today. There were some who thought that Clemens would not be back. And if the Red Sox win, they will definitely need him against the Oakland A's. Then at 8 o'clock, NASCAR, Tyson, Holly Farms, 400. 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. 10:51 to play. Bruins down by 4. Maybe a little bit of a busted play there. Maddox reacted well and went to try and get as much as he can. But I remember reading the quote, Neil, about that young guy, Tommy Maddox, and he said, in the Stanford win, when we came back from 21-7 down and I was the quarterback, what happened to Stanford was that in the second half, we got them out of their comfort zone and got ourselves into ours. Yeah, and he is into that now.
No, he's learning more and more. Here's the single we talked about earlier. He went to his ear, which meant, you better hear me or something. It was a one route, a quick out, and he decided, I can't throw it, I might run it. No good. Tillman makes the play, and Plummer.
He goes deep again. LaChapelle broken up nicely at the 23-yard line. Alvin Dunn. He and John Diggs, the twin safeties, have had themselves a game.
They certainly have. I tell you, Tommy, we talked about his touch. He has nice touch here, but needs a little more zip. You got LaChapelle going to the corner. He's there already. Get the ball off a little sooner. Little face mask call maybe in some leagues, but not in this one. Good play by Alvin Dunn.
So it's 3rd down and 10. And Dunn will pick up the man in the slot again. That's Sean LaChapelle. Maddox having to audibilize, but listen to the Pullman crowd. He'll scramble. Flag down. 1st down for Maddox, but will it come back? Now they're saying no flag. 11 yards in the game for Maddox.
Well, he showed me something there, Steve. I tell you, most quarterbacks just, I'll take the 4 or 5 yards and get down. He knew he needed 8 or 9 yards for the 1st down. He got it. This guy, everybody talks about, hey, quarterbacks are good athletes. But this guy, he scored 35 points, averaged 35 points in basketball in his high school career.
In the middle by Newton again. That's 12 tackles he's made. You know, Homer Smith, who's been around so many great quarterbacks in his offensive coordinating career, he may have said it best when he said, I've never been around a freshman who is so ready to lead a team as Tommy Maddox.
I remember Lanzino saying, too, when they switched him from guard to center, hey, this guy, when he first stepped in that huddle in Stanford, we knew he was in control.
So many nights with Dad studying football. 27-yard line. Brown again. He may get that 1st down.
Well, he did. I tell you, he did all on his own, too. You called the right tacklers, but this great 2nd, 3rd effort by Brown. Terry Donahue wanted to know where his tailback was. He's right here in Pullman, Washington, number 30 for the Bruins. Going to the weak side of the simple Bruins slant play, leaping over tacklers. Newton pulls him down finally in the secondary, but hey, you can pick up 5 or 6 yards. That's good, positive yardage. They're getting close to that red area again, Steve, and they've only come away with 3 field goals the last 4 times they've been down here.
Trying to be the first UCLA back to get 100 yards in 14 straight games. Their running game has been down in 89 and 90. Brown again. Crosses the 20. Plummer, Dunning, freshman making the tackle. They're inside the 20 again. Every time Maddox has had him there, he's got him points. 3 field goals and a touchdown.
Inside the 20-yard line, I talked about this is the red zone, the red area. 4 times the Bruins been down there, 1 touchdown, 3 field goals, but they're down here again. I think, hey, the Bruins say it's about our time to score a touchdown again.
Maddox, he reads the zone. Looks for LaChapelle, corner of the end zone, touchdown! Alvin Dunn was trying to go with LaChapelle, but he stretched out all 6'3" of them, and he reached up and gave UCLA the lead back. He was was not even on the depth chart, the two deeps, LaChapelle, in preseason, and he's had back-to-back terrific games.
Oh, I tell you, this is just a perfect throw, perfect catch, good concentration. Not that bad of coverage on Alvin Dunn, but hey, Alvin's saying, I've seen that route a few times before. I got great coverage. He still pulls it down for the touchdown.
Napa, California. Galuiso gives UCLA a 3-point lead. It's the Bruins 23, the Cougars 20, and LaChapelle, the happiest man in the Palouse. And well, right now.
Well, I tell you what, like, as you mentioned, he was like 5th or 6th on the depth chart. You got Brian Adams, number 6 for the Bruins. Michael Moore, number 19, who really clears the zone out. It's really man-to-man coverage. They're playing a man solo coverage, which means I got him. If he comes outside, Alvin, you got him. If he goes inside, John Diggs picks him up. And again, Dunn's saying, hey, wait a minute. You've been going this corner route a bunch of times. I can't cover you every single time.
And Maddox really throws an easy ball to catch, doesn't he?
Well, I talked to Terry Donahue about him again. Loves this guy. He says, you know, maybe he doesn't have the arm strength like a Troy Aikman, but has a lot better touch. He can put that nose down like you're seeing here. Puts that ball right down in front of the face mask. Hey, you can't do anything but catch that ball.
The last great number 8 at UCLA was that Troy Aikman, and he won the Heisman Trophy.
Well, you know, Tommy Maddox actually wore 18. Look at Rick Neuheisel getting in there, pumping them all up. He wore 18 in spring ball, but changed his number to number 8.
Eddie, look at him. Eddie.
Galuiso into the end zone again, and he has done a nice job on kickoffs. He's matching Hansen.
Well, I tell you,
he's put in 3 field goals. You know, some of those great combinations through the years. Joe Montana, Dwight Clark, Lenny Dawson, Otis Taylor. We're going back. Neil Lomax, Roy Green.
Hey, you read that note I gave you, huh? Right there. You finally
I want the money.
You're finally reading my notes I've been handing you for 3.5 quarters here.
UCLA has their first lead since the first half. They lead at 23-27, 55 to go. And Gosson has struggled since finding a rhythm through the first.
Now they're forced to open the thing up. They've been conservative for the last 3 quarters. Now you're going to see a true Washington State offense.
UCLA's defense right there. Shelby right there. He is an incomplete pass. He was juggling it.
Very close to being a lateral. That's why you see all the host of Bruin jerseys over to pick that ball. Just a simple swing pass to Shelby right there. But I'll tell you what, though. Number 5, Calvin Griggs, put the hit on Dion Lambert.
Address announcer, please ask the fan who is in this stands and has a whistle to knock it off. No more whistle.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay. Yeah, I tell you, Washington
State. With the whistle, please knock it off.
There's a quick whistle. They blew that dead. They're lucky because that could have been easily an interception.
You know they're going to bring about 6,000 whistles now, and everybody's going to be howling.
Well, Pat Flood, the referee, I'm loving this. He's over there in the end zone, the student body section. He's over there. I want that whistle back.
You know, we have all these fraternities and sororities here. They've been partying all day, and they just needed somebody to tell them what to do. And now the Cougar cheerleaders are going to say, now calm down, fellas.
Yeah, right.
Hey, this is our homecoming.
Yeah, right.
You know, this is a great area for college football. Pullman, surrounding vicinity, just hungry for a winner here with Washington State.
Well, it's a college town. I mean, the whole town lives and dies by the Washington State University sports programs, football, basketball, track and field, and baseball. Very, very good program here.
John Olrud, All-American.
And what sorority the functions at after the game. I think he's pretty upset about that whistle.
Mike Price was talking about so many kids coming up here as recruits and thinking, well, I'm not going to go to Washington State. I'm going to go to a big city school. And the interesting thing, guys like Aaron Garcia and Desmond Clayton, what they do is they call back home and they say, well, I think I may go to Washington State, and they wind up signing with the Cougars. It is a wonderful place, and it's an entire community that just surrounds the college.
Oh, they love it here. Again, college town, USA. I really miss this kind of game. Again, I wish I was playing. It's close. It's in the fourth quarter. If you're a quarterback with a throwing offense like Washington State, you just got to be pleased to be in there. Hey, I got to get fired up, move this team down and score.
There he is. I spotted him. There's the guy. He was whistling.
You know, he's the same guy that was whistling the Cal game.
No, but look how guilty he looks.
Yeah.
All right, it's second down. 10 yards to go. Gosson will send 4 receivers left side. Swinton's in motion. He's bringing it back right, though, and it's intercepted.
Roman Pfeiffer again on the coverage, Steve.
And Martin Stadium is quiet.
Brad Gosson looking at the strong side, the wide side is like we see, comes back to Clarence Williams. They've been coming back to that single receiver just one too many times. Roman Pfeiffer, he's got 1 foot in, he sure does. Slides out of bounds, big play. The momentum definitely on the Bruins side.
103 straight passes for Brad Gosson without an interception, and then Pfeiffer comes through. UCLA leading by 3, and the defense by Washington State has to rise to the occasion as Newton is there again.
High five on the sidelines, and rightfully so. Hey, they just taking control of this football game in the second half.
It's not a high five, it's a high Pfeiffer. UCLA in tackles. He did not play last year because of disciplinary reasons. And Pfeiffer on UCLA's
not having a bad day, huh?
Newton on the Palouse side, bringing him down. 7:07 left. Maddox throws it again to his big tight end in Austin. Ricard had to knock him out.
Tommy's 3 for 3 on that nice fake toss, bootleg action. I think he enjoys rolling out a little bit. Again, we talked about his athletic ability. Great basketball player. He's recruited both by Duke and North Carolina to play basketball. I was just recruited by Duke, by the way. I wasn't North Carolina.
And you settled for Portland State.
Yeah.
273 yards. He had 353 last week against Michigan. Second highest total in UCLA history. Big hole. And Brian Brown has over 100 yards. First time in 14 games a Bruin back has done that. Next week, Washington State is at USC, and ESPN will be there as well. But it starts off with the first of 3 great games. Lafayette against Columbia. 12:30 Eastern Time. LSU and Florida both winners today. And then the Cougars and the Trojans. 10:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Maddox going with a double tight end. Second down 3. Brown, big hole, 10. He's to the 5. He spins to the 4.
Well, I tell you, Scott Spaulding, Vaughn Parker, Rick Ford, and Lance Zeno pulling on the center, just opening up some big holes for their running backs. Brian Brown, as you mentioned, the first got 113 yards on 30 rushes. First time in 14, 15 games you were talking about. Now you got to think about, hey, if you're the Washington State coach, offensive coordinator, you stay with Brad Gosson when they get the ball back.
Double tight end. This is Michigan style. Wolverines beat him up last week. Brown a leap in the top, and they're saying, hey, Mr. Brown, you've carried it this far. We're going to let you celebrate in that end zone. Mike Price facing the sideline. He saw a 27 lead evaporate. And that man has been a big story why. It's 23-20 UCLA. Second down 2. For the touchdown. Brown leaps the top, stopped at the goal line. It's 3rd and goal at the 1. Number 6, Moton, who went out for a while, back in helping out of the tackle with Kurt Newton.
They've been down here an awful lot of times now. scoring each time, 3 field goals, 2 touchdowns. But what Mike Price is thinking about on the sidelines, okay, what do I do offensively now? Our defense, I haven't worried too much about him. You see Coach Zimmer pointing fingers around his nose, his ears, make sure they stop. But man, do I stay with Brad Gosson? Do I go with Garcia? How about Drew Bledsoe?
Double tight end, off back right side. They're powering it in. They give it to the fullback, and he is at the goal line. Touchdown, UCLA.
Carter, Steve, just power football. The Bruins took it from their own 20. No passes inside the red area, just took it down on all kinds of runs.
Well, he played inside linebacker last year, Khalif Carter. Now making his way as a fullback. He looks like a linebacker, doesn't he?
Looks like 2 fullbacks.
What did the 49ers do a few years back? They ran Guy McIntyre, an offensive guard. Had paved the way for Roger Craig. 29-20. Will try and make it 30-20, and he does. With 4 minutes and 36 seconds remaining here in the Palouse, Washington State was trying for their first win at Pullman in 11 years since they beat UCLA 17-14 in 1979.
Hard-nosed power football. That's all we're talking about here. Again, they got inside that 20-yard line. Homer Smith says, no way we're going to throw it here. We got the momentum. We'll just smash it down their throats. Right now, I can tell defensively, Washington State saying, hey, we've been carrying this team for the whole game. Offensively, you guys got to pick it up a little bit. It's going to be interesting to find out if Mike Price stays with Brad Gosson.
The interception, the key by Roman Pfeiffer, and it ends with Khalif Carter's 1-yard touchdown run, 30 yards in 7 plays. 4:36 left. Washington State will get the football, and they'll go to that wild offense, but we have not seen number 12, Brad Gosson, go long in this game.
Well, he hasn't used any of his targets at all. C.J. Davis, Calvin Griggs, Ron Young. To watch the kickoff here, I think they're going to go with Gosson too. I see him on the sidelines. Coach Diedrich, the offensive. Well, that's actually Mike Price, the head coach, talking to him. Coach Diedrich, the quarterback coach, again told us before the game, hey, if things don't go right, we might go with Garcia or even Drew Bledsoe. They're talented freshmen. But hey, this is a senior. It's homecoming. They're saying, okay, Brad, you've done it before. Hey, you got to do it again.
You know, I think Coach Price is going to go into that locker room if he loses this football game and praise the UCLA secondary because they've been playing a lot of man. I mean, they've even been surprised the amount of man they've showed in this game.
Exactly right.
Down to right fair. The 25-yard line. Arnold Ale. Brown with 117 yards rushing for UCLA.
Now, I don't quite understand this. It's not exactly they're up by 10. They're down by 10 with 4 minutes and 15 seconds to play. Hey, you need 2 scores to win. Yeah, a touchdown and a conversion and a field goal will win, but I don't understand this very conservative style they're showing right now.
Trying to break it to Shelby right fair. He had a big touchdown against Brigham Young. That was that style. It was a 4th and short. They went for it, and he scored a touchdown on a 42-yard run. Beat Shaw. Kim Lawhorn into the stop for UCLA.
Well, that brings up 3rd and 1, but again, they're taking their time. They're taking too much time. I like to see a little more no huddle or 2 plays in the huddle. Brad Gosson, the senior, he ought to have that kind of control.
3:41 to go. Again, they will be stopped shy of a first down. And the crowd howling here. You know, this is a very, very unusual time for Washington State. Down by 10 to UCLA and just 3.5 to play.
Well, this is very unlike their offensive style. We've seen the last 3 games.
Washington State, number 2.
And that riverboat gambler, Mike Price, trying to call the bluff of Terry Donahue, and Donahue's defense has done the job. First 2 games, Washington State rushing game, 75 yards. Last 2, they go for 422, and then the Bruins hold them to 69. We've got 3:20 left, and UCLA is up by 10. On the West Coast, and that guy is still ready for college football. Hey, it's homecoming.
Yeah, you bet, baby. He's fired up. Big play here, 4th and 1.
Shelby to be right. Fair gets the first down with 3:15 to go. 30-20 our score. UCLA has the lead. Gone away from the running game. Just 72 yards rushing in the contest for Washington State. They'll huddle it up quickly. Send 2 receivers off to the left. Ron Young, wide receiver, to the right. UCLA defense stacks 5 in the line. Gossin over the middle to his big tight end Williams. Gets a short gain. Stacey Argo on the tackle. And Gossin really has not had a chance to go deep. And are they, the cornerbacks, rerouting the receivers coming off?
Well, they've had some chances. Again, I've been not pleased with their play selection the first half. And here's a Cougar no huddle. Brad Gossin's in control right now.
Washington State has only 2 first downs this half. They go down the sideline. Young can't hold on. Right there was Deion Lambert, their best cover guy, number 26.
Catchable ball, too, though. Very catchable. Had to throw it on a string, and he certainly showed me some arm strength right there. But like you mentioned, Steve, they can't afford just to dump the ball off. They got to go for some big plays now. They need 2 scores to win.
Mike Price has seen his football team struggle offensively in the second half. 101 yards in the quarter to UCLA, for UCLA to Washington State's 15. 2:42 to play. Bruins trying to even the record at 2-2. Gossin down the middle, completes the pass, first down. Desmond Clayton.
Clock will automatically stop on a first down inside 3 or 4 minutes, and that's what they get here. But they're ruling. I think one of the referees is ruling an incomplete pass, Steve. It's the line judge. He's coming up to talk to Pat Flood, the referee. Brad's going to get involved and say, wait a minute, I've had a bad day. Give me a break here. Give me this complete.
Well, they can't go upstairs to ask for a further review.
And I think that's great. It's one of the things that's ruined the National Football League is instant replays. Bradley's obviously upset. Hey, nice throw, had a lot of time. Hey, you know they're playing a big prevent defense. I stuck it in there for a nice 21-yard gainer. They're trying to take the thing away from me. I don't know what they're talking about.
Pass was ruled incomplete.
Oh, that's going to hurt. Let's see it here now. We got a good end zone view from our producer, Terry Linger. Here's the ball right in his chest. He must let it go with his hands. He bobbles it a little bit. I can't tell really from this angle if it touches some of the turf or not. Here's a different angle from the top. Beautiful ball. Looks like it bounced in there, Steve.
He tried to cradle it with his legs.
Had no
he was
control.
Aaron Garcia's favorite receiver in high school.
That was a big target. Ronnie Young, 6'4", 207-pound senior, was going to be his first catch tonight.
What a nightmarish game for Brad Gossin. First interception of the year. And sets up a big touchdown for UCLA. He's thrown for just 91 yards. And it's 4th down, 6 yards to go. 2:35 to play. Deep zone played by the UCLA defense.
They're going to play man-to-man underneath, but zone on top. He's being pressured.
And down goes Gossin at the 22.
Is he jacked up or what, Steve? Big play. 4th and 5. The Cougs had to have any chance to win this football game. They had to convert that.
And Mike Price, just 2 minutes and 31 seconds away from seeing his record fall to 2-3 on the year. Maddox has thrown for 273. Gossin, his quarterback counterpart on the other side, has thrown for less than 100, and he started the evening first in the Pac-10 in passing efficiency. But the Bruins defense has come to life, and particularly in this second half. Double tight end. Brian Brown to the 20, inside of the 19-yard line. Cougars with one timeout left. UCLA with just 2. Rod Plummer making the tackle.
Now you'll see another maturing process for a young quarterback. Tommy Maddox will be looking at that 25-second game clock or the play clock make sure he won't take the snap of the ball in these running plays until it reaches 3 or 4, maybe even 2 seconds. He'll learn that, hey, time management is very important. You got a nice lead like this, under 2 minutes to play. He's going to let that thing just sieve on down until about 2 seconds. He's watching it right now.
Washington State has been outscored in the 4th quarter this year, 70-3. UCLA doing it to him again. They've outscored Washington State 17-0 in this quarter. Ron Hawkins on the tackle of Brian Brown. His best game for Brian Brown.
That's your last timeout.
134 yards back in 1987 against Arizona State when he scored 2 touchdowns in a 31-23 Bruin win. Score almost the same. It's 30-20, and Brown with 122 yards and 36 carries, and he's their smallest tailback.
That's what they want to do coming in this ball game tonight, is run the football, run it well, take the pressure off the young quarterback, Tommy Maddox. They certainly done that right. Terry Donahue's got to be pleased with. He finally got his tailbacks. He talked about, hey, looks like sometimes we've only been playing with 10 guys offensively because our tailbacks haven't done anything.
You know, this was the young genius, 23 years old, assistant coach for Pepper Rogers at Kansas University, and then joined Pepper at UCLA, and he took over when Dick Vermeil went to the pros, and he has been nothing but a genius. Only man to ever win 7 consecutive bowl games.
Right.
But all of a sudden, 3-7-1 last year. It's been like a nightmare ever since. And people forget that he sent 17 of those Bruins to the professional ranks. And he has had to start out with a very young football team. Sure, they have had top recruiting years in the last 4 years, but still he's lost some good ones to the pros. He's trying to put it back together with an outstanding freshman quarterback, a redshirt freshman by the name of Tommy Maddox. UCLA, should they win tonight, they'll go 2-0. Washington at 1-0 after they shut out USC last week 31-0. And we'll see Southern Cal here on ESPN against Washington State down in Southern California next week. Washington State will fall to 1-1. Minute 38 to go, and they're out of timeouts. 3rd down 5. Maddox to Brian Brown, stopped shy of the first down by a couple. Newton again, number 52, sticking his shoulder pad into the side of Brown.
And the Bruins right now just satisfied to do what they've been doing the best the last quarter and a half, and that's just run the football from the I formation. Tommy Maddox, this will really be his first big road game, beating the Cougars up here in Pullman, just like we're going to have USC next week. Todd Marinovich getting his first big road game victory at Ohio State.
And Marinovich with back-to-back rough games. He did not have a good passing game against Ohio State today, and he was shut out last week against the Huskies in Seattle. Double tight ends on 4th down and 2. They're letting it run down.
No timeouts left for Washington State, so they're just going to milk that clock and run it up the middle.
Maddox on the bootleg. He'll get the first down and more. And that will seal the game. Moton making the touchdown-saving tackle.
Like I said, they're gonna fake the run up the middle and have Maddox swinging to the left side. A great call, you know. Yeah,
and like you said,
sacrifice your freshman star quarterback with 30 seconds left in the game on a little bootleg.
You know, you were saying earlier, it's so easy to sit up here and go, hey, that flanker's open. Why didn't he see him? But down in the field, different story.
Yeah, everybody's open from up here. You know, it's been a different ball game for me.
Maddox goes to one knee, and UCLA will win tonight, 30-20. The only time UCLA did not score inside the 20 is right here, when they said so long to homecoming for Mike Price and his Washington State Cougars, as Tommy Maddox with his second great comeback as a redshirt freshman. He came back from a 21-7 deficit to beat Stanford 2 weeks ago, and Terry Donahue watches him tonight come from behind and bring UCLA to a 30-20 triumph over the Cougars of Washington State.
Can't say much about Tommy Maddox to what you just said. Hey, 2 great comebacks for those victories. Yeah, I got a little salt in the wounds against Michigan, but this was a big, big road victory for the young man.
Well, we've had a big day on ESPN today, a quadruple header, and it closes out with UCLA's second victory in Pac-10 play. They lead the West Coast of Pac-10 Conference as Terry Donahue enjoying his second win of